everybody. Oh, I bet my microphone's quiet. I have to turn it up. Excuse me. It is Friday. It's Forge World Friday. How's it going? Wasn't sure if we were going to get back on this schedule, but here we are. All the Forge World indexes dropped unceremoniously just an hour ago. So let's dive in and talk about them. Which faction should we do? How? Because it won't take long. Astra Militarum, get it over with. Leagues of Votann. Yeah, this I'm on my headset microphone today, chat, and it is a little. It tends to be a little quiet, so some people complain. So I forgot to fix it and increase its level of volume. Is it sad time for Hyrule? Oh no, don't tell me that. So I haven't looked at these at all. But we can hop in, and I guess looks like everybody's on NIDS, or at least two people are on NIDS a lot. So I guess we'll start with Tyranids. We'll rip that band-aid right off. It's okay, chat. Tyranids have been squatted as a faction, so we don't really mind that much. So the points are in the indexes. I believe that Hyrule are in at about 300, which seems like a lot, but who knows. The Barbed Hyrule does have 2 biocannons, right? With Strength 9, AP 2, 2 damage. Ew. That's not a very good profile. It shoots a lot of times, though. D6 plus 3, so 2d6 plus 6. After the shot, select one enemy unit, excluding Titanic, that was hit. So at the start of your next turn, it's suppressed, it gets minus to hit. That's a good ability. Basically like a big version of the Barb Gaunt is what they're going for. Strength 14, AP 2, D3 plus 3 in melee. 8 attacks is a lot. AP 2 though, what is this fascination with making Tyranid melee weapons like fuck all AP? It's so weird. I just don't get it. Like every other faction's like AP 3 minimum, but Tyranids, no. AP 2. You get AP 2. Scythe Tyranids. It graduates to a 2+ save. These are toughness 12. Scythe Tyranids actually looks kind of sweet. It's able to declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. That's okay, but it can't fall back and shoot, so I guess it's not really that bad. It's not that great. I wish they had something defensively on their profile. If they were -1 damage, I think these things would be immediately playable. This guy actually looks okay, right? So 18 wounds. He's obscurable now. He's not towering, which is phenomenal. Only AP 2 on the melee weapon, but 10 attacks rather than 8. Plus a torrent ranged weapon. Strength 6, AP 2. 1 damage, but 18 range. Side Tyranids might be goated, actually. Barbed Tyranids, I don't think we're here for this one. You could take a Barbed Tyranids to shoot 2d6 plus 6, Strength 9 AP2s at somebody, or you could take, for the same cost, like 9 Zoanthropes. Not gonna take the Barbed Tyranids, but the Scythe Tyranids does look actually pretty sweet. It's no Spanish Nurgle, 21d6. Yeah, the miasmic malignifier, the malignifico. They didn't get any better, but they went up in points. Yeah, but like the use case of the unit profile changed, right? Like they went up to OC5. They're better at holding objectives. You know, they're a 2+ save in cover, so they can get cover now. So they're basically a 1+ save. Toughness 12 is really good. I wouldn't say they didn't get better. I do think that the melee profile is like really sad. But 10 attacks, strength 14, D3 plus 3 damage is probably fine. I actually think Scythe Tyranids is probably playable. Barbed Tyranids, this gun is really bad. It's a very bad gun. But Scythe Tyranids is okay. Harry Dan, let's go. Oh, it keeps frenzied metabolism? Harry Dan, are you still playable? Hold up. Harry Dan did go down. It has hover. All right, we're in. It is, for some reason, fucking trash in melee. Holy shit. Just like, don't forget it has a melee weapon. But 2d6 plus, it has 2 dire biocannons, right? 2d6 plus 12, strength 10 to AP 3, 3 damage. With +1 to wound. You can get rerolls from an Exocrine. You can get ignore cover from a Pyrovore. Is Harry Dan good, chat? Harry Dan, are you playable again? Do I have my Harry Dan emote on this page? I don't. That's sad. Crazy Potem is better because there's a chance not to take a mortal wound. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's only like it doesn't average 2 mortal wounds. It averages like 1.83 mortal wounds. I think it's like 1.6, right? Because 1 in 6 times you don't take any. That's cool. What does it transport? Gargoyles? Ooh, 1 winged Tyranid Prime. Let's go. But also, having a 20-inch move transport, is that, like, also okay? Because you can move the gargoyles after they disembark, too. Is Harry Dan good? I kind of feel like it is. Also, he gets cover, so he's actually, like, a 2+ save instead of a 3+ save, because the cover rolls are fucked. And you can, like, reactively drop Catalyst on it all the time. I think the defensive profile is going to kill it. T10 3+ isn't quite survivable enough. For 655, right? That's where Harry Dan's at. It's probably worth a play. It's certainly worth a play. Yeah, the not overhanging is huge for the Harridan for sure. Why does it always take mortal wounds? It gets +1 to wound on its gun because it, like, I guess, like, saps its life essence to do extra damage with its guns. And then the Hierophant. We saw the Hierophant earlier. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of over the Hierophant. It has this, like, stalking rule, so at least it's not a fucking trash fire and moving across the table, but it's still not going to be able to move over any building that's, like, reasonably sized at all. It doesn't have the Frenzied Metabolism thing, so it doesn't get +1 to wound, so its guns are just strictly worse than Harry Dan's. It's way harder to kill. 2+ save is, like, legitimately tough, but not for, like, 800. Especially because, like, again, it's fucking trash in melee. It's so weird that the Tyranid super heavies are basically worthless at fighting. What is that? I don't know. Pretty bizarre. You cannot give them enhancements, chat. No. They are not characters. They're just big beasties. I'm a little bit off center here with my data sheet. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to zoom in. Here, let's just move this over. Ta-da! There you go, chat. There's all the keywords. There, we'll do that. How's that? That's better. There's no strat to heal. Yeah. But you also don't care so much about being bracketed. So. You rarely healed. In the 8th edition codex, you never healed. The heal was awful. In the 9th edition codex, you healed sometimes when you needed to. So yeah, that's sad. It's sad about the Hieroduals. I think the side Tyroduals, like, maybe playable. I wish there was ways to get extra AP. You hit up against a 2+ save in melee with Tyranids and you just want to cry. But this thing's probably okay. It just does, like, it's so much anti-infantry. Could you just, like, rock... Could you just, like, rock 3 of these guys? Just run at people? That might be okay, actually. Right? Right? Is that good? I don't know. It moved 12 inches. That's a long way. You could play, like, 3 of them and then 3 Tyrannifexes and just do, like, the toughness, like, high toughness 2+ save skew. And that's only 12... I guess that's 1,500 points. Yeah, and 300 points of model is expensive. You also want to fit 18 Zoanthropes in the list, too, though, because that's, like... Those guys are helping you actually kill anything. The Hierophant is the only model in the Tyranid army that takes advantage of battle shock people. That's not actually true, right? There's a bunch of stuff that like kind of tangentially triggers up battle shock, but it's not really that exciting, to be fair. Hierodual is only a few less points than a Wraith Knight. Yeah, I mean that's like, the Wraith Knight's like wildly undercosted, right? Like, you almost can't compare things to it. Like, you compare things to Eldar, and you're just like, it doesn't really matter. Like, Tyranids will never win that matchup anyway, so it doesn't even matter what the comparison is. People were telling me I was like too pessimistic on my in my game against them the other day. I was like, I think I was very fair. Just like, oh, stop whining about Eldar while you're getting tabled by them with no chance. Yeah. All right. What are we doing next, chat? Imperial Knights? We'll do Imperial Knights. Let's go. Now, I almost want to grab. Actually, I just have a copy of the field manual. Sunderer of Fortresses. Wow, it's a hell of an ability. Oh, I have the old Minotaur field manual. Excuse me, chat. I needed a new one. I'm gonna go download it real quick so that we can see all these points values. Bloop, 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 bloop. Where's Imperial Knights? I guess I could actually just look at the table of contents. This is a long tangent just to find out points values. All right. So the Asterius and Porphyron were at 650 and 730. So 730 points for this friend. What does an Asterius look like? I know what the Porphyron looks like. The Porphyron's sweet. The Porphyron's the big like egg with guns all over it. The Asterius is this fucking thing. That's weird. Okay. So 730 for this, we said, which is good because it has a bonus against vehicles, which is automatically sweet. T13 2+ save, 30 wounds. So it's like a super dominus chassis. It's got a big indirect fire blast, but only 1 damage. A Volkite Culverin, which is just a normal Volkite Culverin, and a twin conversion beam cannon. 3 shots, and it has 2 of them. Twin linked. You get critical hits out of 4+ if you're more than 24 inches away, which is actually kind of difficult, to be fair. And then it sustains for D3. Strength 16, AP2, 6 damage. Where's the AP2? Everything's AP2. Your opponent's just gonna save out of 3, and you're like, fuck, okay. But every time you target a vehicle, you get +1 strength and damage. So strength 17, 7 damage against vehicles. It's also awkwardly like strength 11, 3 damage. I get in melee. That's well, kind of whatever. I guess it rerolls wounds, which is nice. It just hits on 3s though. Yeah, not for 730. It's expensive. It's high damage, low AP though, which is weird. That night skipped leg day? Yeah, probably. Porphyrion. This one has 2 autocannons and 2 Magna las cannons, and then can switch the autocannons with more las cannons. All right, fair enough. Which you'll probably do, because las cannons strictly superior, and they don't cost any extra points. When it remains stationary, it gains lethal hits. It is all their ranged weapons, so it's like little stuff will also gain lethal, but it's 2+ anti-fly. And has heavy. And then the big laser beam blasts. I love that they give these like super high base strength weapons twin links. They're just like, I don't know, that's fine. So 2d6, strength 18, AP 4, d6 plus 6 damage for 650. I think that's just good, right? Like, I mean, I guess it's probably not good in comparison to like Valiant, just because the Valiant does like that forward push that you really want. And I guess also these don't really interact with the faction abilities very well, because they don't have any bondsman abilities, so they can't like buff the little knights, the armigers. And the armigers are, I think, where like that's where the true power lies. So it's probably tough to squeeze one into the list, but I think it seems like a good profile. There's going to be a lot of lists in 10th edition where your opponent is just deploying stuff out in the open, and the Porphyrian's just like, all right, you're dead now. Your opponent's like, aha, I'm going to deploy those Hyrule we just talked about. They must stand in the open. And the Porphyrian's like, I killed 2 of them. Pew, pew. I actually like the Porphyrian. I don't like the first one, the Asterius, but I like the Porphyrian. Cerastus Knight Lancer gets a tank shock for free. Again, an extra time. Let's go. More tank shocks. And it is strength 20, so we got the old 22 dice tank shock. Blammo. It has a crappy Tesla gun. It's 25 wounds, kind of weirdly, with a 4+ invulnerable save. Just 4+ invulnerable save. That's solid. It can advance and charge. If it's bondsmaning someone. And they also get advance and charge, so that's good. How many points? For the Cerastus Knight Lancer, 430. That's probably fine. We get a little full tilt action back in the Codex. Yeah, if Knights are meta, you just have like duels between trios and Porphyrians just shooting each other. It's all Knights all the time. Porphyrians kill like 2 armigers. The other person's like, aha, I've swarmed you with armigers, and you kill 6 every turn. You're like, that's fine. I'm not that worried. Oh, we'll be okay. Yeah, move 14, advance and charge. The Lancer was always the one that would like alpha. You'd move like 20 inches in the first turn and then just charge into the deployment zone on turn 1 on top of 1. And then it's difficult to kill in the swing back. The Lancer seems good also. And it's not super expensive. It's definitely not the cheapest of the Knights, right? Because like the errants and stuff are below 400, but for a little bit of an upgrade, you get the baked in 4+ invuln, which is awesome. Means it doesn't fall over in melee, which is good. Means that all that Tyranid AP2 is not so bad. What is this like? Tyranid's AP2 melee weapons in melee. Knights are like minimum AP4. Whatever, dude. Cerastus Knight Castigator gets sustained hit 1 and +1 AP with its ranged weapons. Hot diggity damn. That's a hell of a bondsman ability. Okay. You just sustained hits with your AP5 thermal spear. Okay. But yeah, actually that's mostly for armored or Helverins, I think. So they go to AP2 because the low AP is a real downside for those things. After it has shot, it suppresses 1 non-monster vehicle it's shot at with its bolt cannon. Oh my god, this thing is kind of nutty. So it itself gets its own ability, right, when it bondsmans someone. So it shoots 18 shots, sustain 1, strength 6, AP3, excuse me, 2 damage, twin linked. That's a hell of a bolt shot right there, and then suppresses you. And it is also very good in melee, strength 14, AP 4, 6 damage. Not as exciting as the Lancer, but certainly not too bad. That's just like a really all-rounder profile. You'll tune up like a vehicle real hard. You'll shoot a billion infantry to death. It's just like kind of all right all over the place. Just twin linked kind of smooths everything over. Knights versus Knights, sub 1 hour, 2k points game. Yeah. That used to be the case. You would see a lot of like super heavy duels. In 8th edition, I saw that a lot. You would be like, roll to go first, and then one army of super heavies would just fucking vaporize the other one in 1 turn. It was kind of wild. Yeah, the points have been in the field manual for like 3 days. They updated the Munitorum field manual on the website like ages ago, but we didn't have any of the data sheets. They updated it when the app went live, which was day before yesterday, I think. And it was just weird because the data sheets weren't there. People data mined the app to find the profiles for Forge World stuff, but you couldn't find any of the stats, only their weapon profiles as far as I know. Acheron has a big flame cannon. It's just a Valiant, basically, but it's not as tanky, so, like, kind of who cares? Yeah, it's good at fighting, I guess. It does remove cover from people, so that's actually good. Except it removes cover from people with, like, a 2d6 shot flamethrower, so they also mostly just die. And then you make people take battle shocks. Yeah, who gives a shit? Okay. I guess it is like start a fight phase with -1, so they might be able to not be like they might be uninterruptible, which is okay, but all right. I don't think that's exciting. Atropos. You get +1 to hit against monsters or vehicles, +1 to wound against towering. Bondsman. Oh, is reroll hits and wounds against Titanic or Towering? Yeah, these things are just gonna mutually annihilate. Every knight's just killing each other. Everyone's dead. What are they armed with? One of each, the Graviton Singularity and the Las Cutter. The Graviton Singularity is like randomly kind of low damage. You can overcharge it to get hazardous, which I guess you probably just do because knights have like a built-in feel no pain and like have a billion wounds, so whatever. But it just gives devastating wounds. It doesn't actually improve the damage characteristic at all. It's D3 shots for D6 +1. It's just D3 like kind of good las cannon shots, which is a little bit weird with blast. And then the las cutter is strength 14, AP 4 damage. Just I mean I think it's really just banking on triggering these abilities to do a lot of damage, but the weapon profiles themselves are a little bit uninspiring. Every knight's list is all just Forge World. Maybe. Are they? Magira's give ignore cover. That's almost as good as giving +1 AP. And sustained hits. It's close. Ooh, they do repair every turn, though, for D3. That's really good. Only 22 wounds. Because these are the shorter ones, right? They're based on the base Questoris profile, yeah. Lightning Cannon is a Tesla gun with AP 0, so that's probably bad. Rad Cleanser, Anti-Infantry 2, ignore cover, twin linked. Only 1 damage! Get wrecked, Rad Cleanser. Go fuck yourself. I guess at least its claw's really good, right? It can take the Siege Claw and the Rend Cleanser if it replaces its Chain Sword. Which I guess the Chain Sword sweep is slightly better, but I think you would just do that, right? Because the strike profile on the Siege Claw is better, and you get another gun. Kind of funny. Yeah, how far the Mighty have fallen, though? Ignore cover is good, I guess, but this isn't a very exciting profile. AP 0 ignore cover is kind of like, okay. You wouldn't get cover on a 3+ save anyway, so it's kind of half as good as it would be, and you might as well take the dude who gives you +1 AP. The Rend Cleanser is bad, but to be fair, the Rend Cleanser was too good previously, so it is what it is. I don't feel that bad about it. Questoris Knight Styrex. It's the same melee profile. Gives also ignore cover. Okay. Does an Earthshaker is an infantry unit that it shoots with its Graviton Crusher, which is only 18-inch range, so it's kind of got to get up close and personal anyway. And then has like a weird. It's just, this is basically just the Abominance gun. Nah. And then the Moirax. You get Heroic Intervention for 0. That's what they used to do, right? Because they would protect the big knights. If you had one of the Megaras near them, they would heroically intervene into you. You can take Conversion Bead Cannons at AP2 for 3. Graviton Pulsars. Anti-Vehicle 2 Blast. AP1, 2 damage, though. Just the Grav profile. Yeah, none of those are particularly exciting. Losing AP from all their weapons is crazy. The benefit of the Moirax previously is, like, they could take AP2 or AP1 Tesla weapons, which is, like, sort of unique. For the lightning locks, but that has since gone. It is 6 attacks, but only strength 8. Yeah, I think you would just take... There's literally no reason to take this over Armigers, it feels like. They're 1 higher AP, but they shoot like half as many times if they're taking the Conversion Beam. Well, I guess it's a little bit funky, because they probably trigger sustain. At least one of them triggers sustain, so they actually probably shoot. They hit like three shots, whereas a Halvarin's hitting like... How many shots does a Halvarin shoot usually? 8? 2d, 4d3? 8 on 3, so it hits 5. So it hits a little bit more for +1 strength and AP, basically. But lower range, yeah, I think you would just be rocking a Halvarin instead of these guys. It doesn't really feel like they do anything super great. Their Siege Claws don't have -1 to hit on them anymore. They're okay in melee, actually. Are they just a melee model now? Do you just have double Siege Claw Moiraxes running around? I guess you'd only take 1, right? Because you can't double swing. Yeah, so you're probably taking a melee weapon. And then also, like, not the Conversion Beaver because you're running to melee people. So, like, maybe the Volkite? Or the Graviton? I like them better in melee than I do the stupid Armiger Warglaive. Those things suck in melee. Graviton Pulsar seems better? Yeah, I like it. AP1, though, is just, like, real sad, but Anti-Vehicle 2 is a really good keyword. All right. Well, what's the standout here? Cerastus Knight Lancer seems great. I like the Lancer. I like the Castigator, and I like the Porphyrion. Not you. The Porphyrion. Those all seem eminently playable. That's definitely like a sneaking... I have a sneaking suspicion Porphyrions may just be like killing other Knight players immediately. Like right off the bat. They'll just be like, blue, blue, blow up 2 Knights, your go. And their opponent's like, well, I think I lose now. Which is a little problematic, but who knows? Should we look at Titans next, chat? While we're on the topic of big super heavies? I'm only really interested in the Warhound Titan. The standout is that Nids need to steal some Knights. Yeah, the comparison between Tyranid profiles and the Knight profiles is pretty damning. Especially considering you consider that that Porphyrion is like 150 points less than a Hierodual. Or, excuse me, a Hierophant. And that Hierophant, there's no way that Hierophant stands up to that Knight. Ever. In any way. Against like D6 plus 6 damage twin-linked guns? Are you serious? 2d6 of them? It shoots like, and they're heavy, right? So it's like shoots 7 times, hits on 2s, like hits 6, wounds on 3s, re-rolling, so it probably wounds like 5. And then you're like save on a 5 plus invuln, so you save maybe 2, and you take 18 plus 3d6 damage, you probably die. Just one-shots you. You're just dead. Yeah, the Porphyrion's damage output is sort of nutso. Which is, honestly, it is like the coolest Knight, so I don't know. Where are you at, Porphyrion? Let's take a look at you. It's just the big gun egg. Look at this guy. He's just a big egg. He looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like one of the Robotnik's robots, right? Like the little dude with the mustache is gonna like pop out the top. I like him. He's a real combat walker personified energy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tyranids really have a problem killing knights for sure. Fortunately, that thing does take the place of like 2 regular-sized big knights, Custodes knights. So they are going to be light on the ground if they take it. But it's just going to hold down their backline objective and then shoot over everything with towering. All right, chat. Let's move on. The Warhound Titan. I'm looking at playing Thousand Suns too. I'm kind of worried about that thing, like shooting Magnus. If he can't hide. Just gonna get fucking vaporized. The towering keyword was a mistake. You should be able to hide from those things. I'm okay with it doing infinite damage if it can only do it in line of sight, but being able to shoot through walls is pretty insane. Anyway, here's a Warhound Titan. It's got a 2+5 up. Also, benefits from cover. Let's go. 40 wounds. It's a 5 up only against ranged attacks. Alright. When it advances, it gets +8 to its wound characteristic instead of rolling. And every time you target this stratagem, you must spend twice the stated CP cost to do so. But it is target. Are there stratagems in this? No. So what do you target it with? You don't target it with command point reroll, like heroic intervention. Is that the only stratagem that actually? Oh, I guess like the battle shock one. You could. It takes 2 CP to unbattle shock it. Get wrecked, Warhound Titan. That's a weird ability. It doesn't really do that much, to be honest. Yeah, we can finally play it in competitive. So somebody pointed out to me, and this is super super funny. Currently, because you can take Astra Militarum models in a Genestealer Cult army, you can take Astra Militarum. If you take no Genestealer Cults, because these abilities they unlock the support abilities, require you to have the Imperium keyword on all your models. They don't require you to be an Imperium army. Because you then, if you only take Astra Militarum models, you have the Imperium keyword, so you unlock Agents of the Imperium, and you unlock a Warhound Titan. So you can take a Genestealer Cult army that takes no Genestealer Cult models, only Astra Militarum, Adeptus Titanicus, and like Inquisition. and then rock it with Genestealer Cults, which doesn't do anything because like none of the models have the correct keywords. But it is extremely funny. Anyway, so this thing's like super tough to kill. 40 wounds, T13, 2+ save. We all know that means 1+ save. It's fine. It's very bad in melee. I mean, it's fine. Hits on 4s, AP 1/2 damage. It's whatever. But it can fall back and operate normally, right? So it doesn't really matter. And it gets any 2 of these weapons. Yeah. And you can take duplicates, right? Okay. So the Inferno gun is a 3d6 strength 7 AP2 3 damage flamer. Just awkwardly worse than the Valiant's flamer. Oh, it's 24-inch range though. Just kidding. Oh my god. This is towering and has a 24-inch range flamethrower. Oh no. Oh, it's 3 damage also. I didn't even realize that. Oh no. Oh no. This is an Overwatch machine. I guess that's the stratagem they wanted us to hit. Alright, I'm seeing it all come together, chat. It takes 2 CP to Overwatch and it's 3d6 3 damage auto-hitting weapon. Okay. That's has the potential to be incredibly toxic. Plasma Blast Gun, Inky's here, and she's mad. She's mad because the TV's off right now. And she can't watch TV. Inky, come talk about the Warhound Titan with me. Maybe? Here, come say hi to chat. Wow. There she is. Look at this kitty cat. GSC has the restriction of found within core to only take 250, 500. I don't know what that means, chat. You take I think the tech is you take like 500 points of Imperial Guard, and then the rest of it unlocks other Imperium units. So you can include like one Warhound Titan if you're all Imperium. That doesn't have a points restriction, so that takes up 1,100 points of your army. And then you take like an Inquisitor and some dudes. All right. The blast gun, if it supercharges, 2d6 plus 3, so it averages about 10. 10 damage, or strength 10, excuse me. AP 5 damage. Does it not work that way? All right, well, now we're going to get to the bottom of the chat. Fuck me for taking somebody at their word, maybe. Yeah, unless there's a rule that I'm not aware of, chat. I believe it does work that way. So you're capped on the cost of Astra Militarum models in your army, but the cost of your other models is not, right? So you take up to 500 points of only Astra Militarum. Because you have no Genestealer models in your army, you can take Warhound Titan. So now you have 1,600 points. And because you don't have any non-Imperial models in your army, you can take, what is it? Up to 2 characters and 2 retinue units out of Imperial agents. Oh, do you end up with no Warlord? Ooh. Can you have are Imperial agents excluded from being your Warlord? That would be a problem. So you can select the Imperial agents, but I guess the question is, do you have to select a Genestealer cult model to be your Warlord? There you go, chat. That would be the issue. So it's not a points restriction, it's that you can't take a Warlord. Alright, well, they found a way to stop our fun Imperial soup. That's fair. Where's the list construction bit? Do you have to take a Genestealer Cult Warlord? Hold up. Yeah, no, you can select an Imperial Agent to be your Warlord. The core rules just say that you have to select a character model. It doesn't have to be a Genestealer Cult character, right? Unless there's something in the special rules that I'm missing. Yeah, I don't know where it says you have to have a Genestealer Cult Warlord. Yeah, I think this totally works, chat. I don't know what you guys are on about. What is in the core rules, Cause King? I don't know what you're on about. These are the army construction rules, right? You have an army faction. You select your detachment rules. You select your units. I don't see any restrictions here. And then you select a character to be your warlord. We did it. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I get for of course whoever I read this from on in Discord was correct. Yeah, Cause King. I'm not sure what you're on about there, but okay, but that definitely works. That's a tangent anyway. We can keep talking about the Warhound Titan. The Genestealer called Warhound Titan. The looted Warhound Titan. Let's go. Add Canis Rex. You're like, I'm playing Genestealer cults with like one command squad, and then Canis Rex and a Warhound Titan. The big laser destructor is strength 20, AP 3, 2d6 damage. I don't think you would ever play that over the plasma blast gun, right? I guess it's higher strength, so it cracks bigger stuff better. But it shoots 5 times. It shoots half as many times for, I guess, slightly more damage, but not significantly less. Canis Rex is the Warlord. There you go. We figured it out. And then the Vulcan Megabolter, which is sad because I think it's the coolest gun on the Warhound Titan. But the Vulcan Megabolter looks very bad in comparison to all these. It can shoot twice as many times as the Plasma Blast gun, but it's not Blast. It gets sustained hits 1, I guess. But it's only Strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage instead of Strength 10, AP 3, 5 damage. A little bit less exciting. Is the Warhound Titan, like, playable? It might not be unironically playable, but it does seem good. There is no longer... do they retain the clause where you can only hold a single objective marker with a model? I don't know if I noticed that in the objective marker section, but we can look. Because it might be that this guy can, like, straddle 2, because he's very wide, right? They're like 12 inches wide. Or not quite. Yeah, Turbolets are better versus T11. But it's less flexible. I guess it still blasts. But it blasts for not very many shots. Yeah, you just should add your OC to an objective marker if you're within range of it. So if you can finagle objectives that are close enough, I think the general deployment, they aren't close enough for a Warhound Titan to get multiple, but any of the objectives where you move the markers, the Warhound Titan could actually potentially influence multiple. And that could be the same for any of this big stuff. But it's weirder for the Warhound Titan because it doesn't have a base, right? So it hull measures like it's like a super huge model. Take double flamer. Here we go, boys. Whoosh, whoosh. The double flamer does seem disgusting. It kills basically whatever on Overwatch, right? But you have to dump all your CP into Overwatching. So I apologize for speaking ill of the Striding Colossus rule, because that does basically keep the Warhound Titan from killing everyone in their own turn. Thank goodness. Damned Legion, how's it going? I hope that you are having a good day. Orks can't be the Warlord due to the Free Blade rules. Yeah, you just get one like Rando Inquisitor or something, right? You can't take epic heroes, I don't believe. Because at least you can't take Militarum epic heroes. I'm not sure, but I think that's the only other restriction. All right, all this other stuff is like huge and apocalypse level, right? And we don't really need to talk about it. I'm not that into it. The Reaver Titan. You spend 3 times the stratagem CP cost to Overwatch with it. The Warbringer Nemesis Titan. Aren't these things psychers? Isn't that the idea of the Nemesis Titan? How come it doesn't have the psycher keyword? How come it doesn't have the debuff of being a psycher? It is only Militarum epic heroes? Get Karamazov over here. The renowned Genestealer agent, Inquisitor Karamazov. Kotiaz, he's bald. Little known fact, he's bald because he's a Genestealer cultist. Ooh. When a Warbringer Nemesis Titan shoots something, it gives you rending. +1 AP on critical wounds, chat. After it shoots you with its 14 damage volcano cannon. Does it have like a little gun? I guess it has the anvilus defense batteries. Yeah, so it can shoot its little guns at something and then give you rending. What a worthless ability. At least give reroll ones to hit, right? After you shoot something with your your 6 damage Melta 4 Melta cannon. Definitely feels like an afterthought. Warlord Titan forces a battle shock check on something that it hit. After it shoots you with its 2d6 plus 6 shot 8 damage plasma annihilator. You'll have survived enough to take a battle shock check. After you've been hit by the Bellicosa volcano cannon for 18 flat damage. Inquisitor cult, yes. Perfect. It's perfect. We're really forging a narrative here. That's what I appreciate about Warhammer 40,000. They encourage you to create any army that you really want to play, right? You know what? I just really wanted to play the looted Warhound Titan with a Genestealer infested Inquisitor Greyfax. And it's amazing that the rules let me do that. And I think that's great. If you wanted to soup Astra Militarum and Space Marines, disallowed. But Inquisitor Codiaz with Genestealer cults? Perfect. Perfect. Do I do a video on that, chat? Maybe. It is super funny. All right. Let's move on. Should we just go down the line here? Talk about Orks? Orks will be a big one, actually, right? So we should rip this Band-Aid off. Grot tanks. Oh, they can run away 6 inches. That's pretty good. Now, what are the cost values associated with these? I closed my Munitorum field manual like a Nimrod. Orks are page 27. What the fuck is this? Hold up, wait. This is not Orks. What did I just look at? Oh, 25. Oops. My inability to read has struck again. Someday I'll learn. I just need like a kind-hearted teacher to take me under their wing. So a Grot tank, 155 for 4 models, so they're like 39 points each, just about. And they are equipped with a big shooter. Okay, well. And they're just going to replace it with a rocket launcher every time, right? Are these just better killicans? I guess they're bad in melee, right? That's the difference, is that they don't have the melee weapon. And they get a custom Mega Blasta for every 4. Also, they're like way faster. Wow. Sit down, killicans. Jesus. You want to stick rocket launches in your army? Grot tanks is the way to go. Let's go. Blam, blam, blam. Can they take a second rocket launcher? Oh, they can. So you get, for every 4, you get 5 rocket launchers for 160 points. And they like are impossible to charge basically because they run away. These things seem great. Like, unironically, they seem totally playable. I was recently keyed into the fact that you can only mech buff a single model at a time, which did make me sad. So you can't give +1 to hit to the entire unit. I guess they don't ignore cover. That's what Grots do. They do the 2+ ignore cover thing. Or the killicans, excuse me. Is that worth 5 points? Probably. So maybe we're still on killicans, but these guys get an extra rocket launcher occasionally, so it's pretty good. The Grot Mega Tank, it gets wildly buffed or it's throws people around in Speed Freaks is what it does. T9 3+ save 12 wounds. It has Armor of Contempt built in. Okay. It's not a particularly survivable profile, but it's basically, I mean, it is almost literally just a 2+ save, right? Except against the AP0, which doesn't really matter. Although I think that this is actually, like, not that great because it doesn't stack with cover, right? Because it worsens your AP to 0, which means that then it doesn't benefit from cover. So it actually is the same. It basically doesn't kick in until like AP2. Which is weird. It's a strange thing to think about. And then yeah, it just has an array shot. Rapid fire 10 shots, strength 5. Shoots 20 within 9. That's funny. Has a twin-linked rocket launcher. Everything else is twin-linked. And it has 1 turret weapon. Oh, 2 turret weapons. So we can take 2 twin-linked rocket launches? How many points is this guy? 110? Is this good? 110 points? Doesn't transport or anything, right? No. It should have a better melee attack after playing against Speed Freaks, though. The Grab Mega Tank actually looks kind of goated. And this one does get benefited by the single mech, and it shoots 2 twin-linked rocket launches. That might be okay. Squigoth! So this is the mini Squigoth. Carries 10 guys. 10 duders. For 150. It's a lot. T10. 3+ save, 18 wounds. Okay. Alright. Compare this to like the Hierodule profile. The Hierodule profile gets T12 and a 2+ save. It costs 3 times as many points. And it has the same melee weapon. What the fuck? Absolutely wild. It's terrible at shooting, but it's good in melee. Especially because it's an orc, right? So it gets like exploding 6s built in and extra attacks and stuff on the WA turn. You want to put it... This is like a Burna Boy delivery system, I think. Because you just advance and charge with this thing and you like have Burna Boy shooting at the top. Actually, are they assault? They might not be assault. I bet they're not, actually. You need an assault weapon so you can WA and shoot everything off the top. But I don't know if there's that many actual assault weapons in Orks. Gargantuan Squigoth. Now these guys are expensive, right? 440. We're talking 100 and some odd points more than like 50 points more than a knight. For 30 wounds, T13, 3+ save. That's a solid defensive profile. It is towering, but its guns suck. So that's sad. And it walks over little things without worrying about it. Doesn't suffer the penalty for hit rolls making ranged attacks while in engagement range. Oh my god, and it's nuts in melee. Strength 14, AP 3, 12 damage lance? What? This thing just like flings tanks into the air if it charges them. It is not, however, a vehicle, so you can't get the vehicle buffs. So all of the internal vehicle synergies that orcs have, you don't get those. Is this good? Probably not, right? I think it's too squishy for its cost, but it's like not easy to kill. T13 is like a hell of a number. Your opponent's unlikely to one-shot it unless they're playing that dumbass Porphyrion. They're probably not going to kill it in one go. And you get to deliver 20 orc boys into them. Oh yeah, I think this thing probably dies on the way in, but if it gets in there, its melee weapon is not so. The kill tank! Gets +1 to hit within half range, so it actually hits on 4s. That doesn't stack with the mech buff, though, which is too bad. And it either fires the 3d6 shot, strength 14, AP2, 3 damage gun, or the Giga Shooter, which is 30 shots sustained hits one. They're not particularly exciting profiles. For 305. At T12, 24 wounds. Yeah, I'm not that into this thing. Poor Kill Tank. How far the mighty have fallen. Mega Dread gets the impact attack ability at the start of the fight phase, and then it gets Twin Linked if it takes double weapons. Mega Dread's for 225. T10 2+. All right. This is 225. Okay. All right. Compare this to a Brutalis. And tell me what's wrong with this picture. Because the Brutalis is the same wounds, right? Same toughness, same save, but like 6 less wounds. Same movement characteristic. No invulnerable save. And these are the same points cost. I guess it has 2 multi-meltas on it, but like, first of all, they're multi-meltas. Who really cares? And then the melee whip profile is basically just better on this thing. Plus, it's a vehicle, so you can give it +1 to hit with the mech. Also works in melee. Oh, the Squigoth can get -1 to be wounded? Is that just non-vehicles? That's actually solid. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's pretty good. Yeah, that helps you a lot if against like las cannons. Making las cannons wound on 6s is kind of huge. All right, I'll buy that. I like that. Mega Dread looks sweet. What is the difference between a Mega Dread and a Def Dread? Are Mega Dreads just like significantly... It's like significantly bigger? Oh, look at this goofy ass thing. It's very big. I love it though. He's a big silly robot. So I guess to all the people asking if their Def Dreads are good now, I think you might just like put them on stilts, make it a Mega Dread. I kind of love this guy. Actually, this model's sick. Have I never seen this thing before? It has a Kill Saw, a Rippa Claw. Did you just say 2 Rippa Claws? You're saying 6 times the Twin Links? It's AP2, 3 damage. But you get more attacks to sustain into. It can take a Kill Cannon, but the Kill Cannon's kind of whatever, right? You're here to melee people. And then you have the torrent weapons on top. It has 2 little torrents? Yeah. Yeah, it has 2d6 flamer attacks from its chain guns. I like that. That's fun. Just the fact that its rotary cannons are just like auto hit, but only shoot a tiny bit. They're just like spraying shrapnel everywhere. Polar Principle, you have 3 of these? That's amazing. Yeah, I think the Mega Dread's actually like kind of sweet. It's just like anything with a 2+ save is like immediately like your ears perk up a little bit. You're like 2+ save? What? What? It saves against every las cannon on 4? Oh, okay. The Mecha Dread is the same thing. What is the difference here? It doesn't get the boom bits. And at the end of your movement phase, you can select one friendly Orcs vehicle model within 3. Oh, it is a mech? Hold up. And it doesn't say other Orc vehicle. You can choose itself? Wait, what? How many points is this fucking thing? For 5 more points? Wait, what? So you trade the little flamers for a self-heal and +1 to hit? For 5 more points? Oh my god. But that also, more importantly means, chat, you can take 6 of these fucking things. For like 1,500 points, you have 6 of them and 3 mechs to tag along with the other ones. I mean, you probably don't need 3. You need like 1 or 2. Hold up. Is this an army archetype? Is this good? This sounds amazing. I'm so in. Oh my god. And I guess, like, they kind of want you to take 2 kill cannons, right? But the kill cannon's not that great. With plus, at least it's hitting on 4s, so it's probably okay. But like 6 plus 2d6 shots on 4s is like whatever. You'll shoot like 13, hit 7. If you're shooting a vehicle, you wound like 2 or 3, and then you may be playing for 2 or 4 damage. It's kind of whatever. Orc shooting is really bad this edition, it feels like. So I think you're like all melee all the time, right? Oops, all dreadnoughts. Especially because you can also use them to, like, if they're not doing anything with their melee weapons at the time, you can use them to buff the other dreadnoughts too. Also, it's end of movement phase, not command phase. Because the Tech Marine's command phase, right? Are Orc mechs just strictly better than Tech Marines? Yeah. Wait, what? Command phase. Get fucked, Space Marines. That's amazing. Are the regular mechs like that? Did we just not notice that the Orcs are like the superior vehicle faction? Where you at, mech? There you are. End of your movement phase. Oh my god. What? 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 Eat your fucking heart out. Space Marines, you suck. Your Tech Marines are garbage. Be an Orc. Oh my god. Man, Orc Dreadless might be awesome. What the hell? You could also take Grot Mega Tanks. We want shooting? For 110 points, you get 2d3 Twin Link Strength 9 AP 3 damage. Blue, 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 blue. That you can give +1 to hit with your Dreadnoughts. Big Track is a truck that rams people for mortal wounds. Not that many mortal wounds, though. I guess it shoots a super cannon, but it only hits on a 5. Warboss and Warbike. It sounds like people have been talking about it in the chat. This guy is borked. He has the leader ability, but no leader component on his card. To be fair, though, they did announce that this guy would be legended. So I'm not actually. This data sheet is of questionable veracity. I don't know. This is weird. He seems good if he's. I mean, well, I think the sad part is that he's just a better Death Killer Wartrike, right? Where's the points sheet? Knobs and Warbikes. Warboss and Warbike is 85 points. Yeah, he's like significantly cheaper than a Death Killer Wartrike, right? Because the Death Kill is expensive. Actually, okay, he's only 5 points less. Well, maybe you just take Death Killer Wartrikes. Although they're big, but big bases are good on melee units. Yeah, maybe it doesn't really matter so much. Except that the Death Killer doesn't give the +1 to hit, does he? I'm like slowly coming back around. It might just be that you take bike bosses in your bike units. Oh no, he's exactly the same. Yeah. So for the Death Killer Wartrike, for 5 more points, you get a bigger base. You get more wounds. You get like a bunch of sweet guns. I guess his melee weapon is slightly worse. No, it's the same. The snap is just a power claw. Yeah. So actually, this profile might not matter. I guess you get an invulnerable save is the difference, which is relevant. But you lose 2 wounds and an OC, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Knobs and warbikes can consolidate 6 inches instead of 3. But with the new consolidation rules, it's actually kind of a downside, because it means if you consolidate, you'll have to like go in weird directions. They have a baked-in 6+ invuln, and you can take them in just units of 3, no bigger. And you can attach Death Kill Wartrikes to them. And each one of them has one of the melee weapons. Are we on just Power Claws or something? Why does the Power Stabba have -1 to hit? Why is that a 4+ weapon skill? That's weird. Maybe we're in on Kill Saws, actually, because you can give +1 to hit to the unit. Also, how come Power Fists are not -1 to hit, but Claws are? The Orc mech list is already confirmed crack. Yeah, this the Orc Forge World document actually seems like kind of insane. Like, Orc vehicles were already pretty sweet, just based on the stuff in their index, but the Forge World stuff might unironically be really good. Well, at least playable. I don't want to like say that it's the greatest thing ever, but honestly, like, staring down the barrel of like 6 dudes with a 2+ save and 16 wounds with like a bunch of like re-rolling wound melee attacks with exploding 6s. They hit on 2 sustained 1, so they should 100% convert and then full reroll their wound rolls with like 6 attacks and 3 damage each. I'm like, it's a little scary. Astra Militarum is split into 2 parts. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. Well, we might speed run Astra Militarum, chat. I don't know if I'm that excited about going through all of the individual kinds of officers that they have. Death Rider squadrons. No feel no pain. How come the Death Corps Marshal has a feel no pain? They still grants a feel no pain. But if you're in a Death Corps infantry squad, don't they have the meta pack that gives them a 5+ feel no pain? Oh no, he regenerates guys. So you add a command squad. Oh, you're supposed to add this guy instead of a command squad. I see what's up. I see what's up. So he's like probably a cheaper command squad. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal move, advance or fall back, they can move 6 inches. And they have a mediocre melee profile. Alright. Squadron Commander. Oh, he gives their guys infiltrators? Alright, that's kind of cute. Infiltrators with a reactive move on a fast melee unit. It's actually kind of sweet. And then he himself gets devastating wounds. Meh. At least they don't punch for too hard. The Carnodon gets reroll, hit and wound rolls of 1, shooting at the target in its opponent's deployment zone. Can take 3 las cannons. The Carnodon las cannon. Oh, it's just a predator basically, right? It has the twin length predator las cannon, and then it can take 2 separate las cannons and get rerolls on them. How many points is this thing? $160? Yeah, it's just a tougher predator, basically. The Cyclops demolition vehicle's back? What? Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was already talking about like how good the mechs were, just because, like, I mean, giving +1 to wounded melee on units with good melee profiles is great in a faction that is incentivizing you to get to melee. Speaking of the Orc mech, by the way. I did not realize that the timing on the ability was just strictly superior to every other incarnation of that ability in the game. I assumed it was the same, but it is much better, which is crazy good. Cyclops Demolition Vehicle. Oh, it's just a Spore Mine, basically. Each time this model or an enemy model ends a move, if the model is within 3 inches of one or more enemy units, you can select one of those units. This model is destroyed. Instead of rolling for Deadly Demise, it can do D3 or D6 mortal wounds. And it destroys itself on a 4+ for 1. I mean, that seems okay in like a 1 or 2 off just to protect your home objectives. But I guess it... Yeah, it only hits its opponents, and it doesn't Deadly Demise on its friendlies when it blows itself up, which is okay. But that's not a great return on investment for these things. For 25 points a model. The Malkador. 2+ save Armor of Contempt. Oh my god. Does it have smoke? Oh my god. Oh no. Malkador, no. Not like this. What is the points value? 250. All right, and they're pricey. But it's T11, 2+ save, 18 wounds. So it's a 1+ save, 0+ in cover. Oh. That's so much. And it has 2 autocannons, heavy bolter, battle cannon. It can replace the 2 autocannons with las cannons, which you will just do. And then replace the heavy bolter with another las cannon. So it has 3 las cannons and a battle cannon. And the battle cannon sucks. Alright, well, at least it doesn't do any damage, but it just refuses to die. That's pretty good. I like this thing. Just invincible. You can't kill it. Don't even try. Who cares? It's just gonna survive. Nobody gives a shit. Hearing that Nids will be leaning towards Spore Mine play. Yeah, Spore Mine score objectives right now. So you windmill slam 3 Biobores into every list for sure. I will say that the Tyranid Index is like a real shit show. But the one benefit the Tyranids have is they have the best secondary game, I think, in the game. Which is good, you know? They can't hold primary for shit. But they can play secondaries okay. The Malkador Annihilator gets ignore cover, so much easier to kill. And has a Demolisher cannon, 2 heavy bolters, 2 las cannon, and the 2 heavy bolters turn into las cannons. So it has a Demolisher cannon, the big twin-linked las cannon? No, just another twin-linked las cannon. So 2 las cannons, a twin-linked las cannon, and a demo cannon. For 270? Yeah, it's a lot. You just take Lehman Russ at that point for like 80 points less. Even though these things are tough to kill. These guys Overwatch on 5s. And have 7 heavy bolters. Unnecessary Malkador Defender. You need to calm down. Bring it down a notch, my guy. Malkador Infernus has an Inferno gun. D6 plus 3, strength 5, APT 2 damage, torrent, ignore cover. And it has 1 of those? Yeah. When it's destroyed on a 3+, it can shoot with its Inferno gun. That's cool. It gets a little bitty shoot on death. The Inferno gun profile is okay, but it's not that great. Especially for like 200 plus points. Yeah, 235 for 1 big flamer. Yeah, not that big of a flamer. Earthshaker carriages are back. Let's go. Oh, good. They're infantry now. So they can benefit from infantry orders, which are easier to source than vehicle orders. Sweet. That's fun. And they're just Earthshakers. Yeah, so the Basilisk is dead once again. You just take Earthshaker carriages. Cool. What a healthy unit to include in the game. I love that. Medusa carriage batteries, force a battle shock check. The weapon profile is much better. Actually, are they? Oh, they're lower ballistic scale, right? Yeah, they're lower ballistic scale. Okay. All right. They can ignore the indirect fire penalty and then get +1 to hit from heavy and +1 ballistic skills and go to 4+, 3+. But they'll never get better than a 3+. So the actual Earthshaker, the actual Basilisk hits on 2s. Or can hit on 2s if you wombo combo it. So there is a difference. All right. All right, that's good, at least. Yay, more indirect. Blowing people up. Medusa carriage battery seems like a pretty good weapon profile. Are Medusas in... Oh, I just closed my Warhammer community tab. You can just take a regular Medusa chassis, right? In Astra Militarum? Where are those guys at? Where are you at, guard? No. Interesting. So this is a unique profile. Strength 10, AP 3, 3 damage. What is the points value for this? 65 points. Fuck. All right. Well, Windmill Slam. 3 Medusa carriage batteries into your army. They do have a designer's note for artillery and crew. 5 heavy crew tokens next to each Medusa. Removing 1 each time the Medusa carriage loses a wound. Oh, that's cute. You can use them to represent their wounds count. Adorable. I love that. That's very cute. This thing seems great. How many points is a Earthshaker carriage? It's got to be expensive, right? Oh, 70. 70 points. Fuck me. Yeah, that's a little worrisome. I think you just play this one, though. You lose an extra 3 shots, but you gain +1 strength and AP. Yeah, you lose the +3, but you get +2 strength, +1 AP, +1 damage. Also, they move now. At least that means they don't get the heavy bonus, but... So you can rock like 3 Wyverns, 3 Earthshaker carriages, 3 Medusas for 700 points. Oh yeah, sorry, Manticores, not Medusas. Oh, I meant oh yeah. Medusas and Earthshakers and Manticores is what you take for sure. Oh my god. Well, learn to survive strength 10 AP 3 damage, I guess, because the guard player is going to be shooting 6d6 plus 9 of those every turn. Fuck me. Stormblade. Got a big Baneblade guy. Here's the Plasma Blast Gun, chat. That's what we were talking about earlier. Oh, it's just worse than the Plasma Blast Gun on the Warhound Titan. Yeah, I don't think I love this thing. That's just, like, underwhelming compared to all of the other Baneblade profiles. 415? How much is a regular Baneblade? 540. So it is cheap, comparatively. And it gets hit rerolls with its big gun. But... Macarius. T13, 2 plus 20 wounds. Reroll hit rolls of 1. Against objective markers. Oh, if it's on an objective marker, that's cool. It has a twin battle cannon, which is just a twin-linked regular battle cannon. For... What is this? Macarius. 310? Ooh. Too expensive. For AP1, too expensive. How many last cannons can you put on it? None. Get fucked. Okay. Well. Sorry. After talking about the Malkador, Macarius is like sad. This one gets reroll hit rolls against monsters and vehicles. It's pretty good. And has a Vanquisher cannon. So it gets reroll hits and wounds with this D6 plus 6 shot gun, or damage gun, but it's one attack. Vanquisher. 285. Jesus fuck. These are so expensive. You like almost get 2 Lehman Russ Vanquishers for that. Macarius Vulcan can shoot a melee for freeze. Has like a bunch of crappy heavy bolters on it. Praetor. This is the big MRL, right? The armored rocket launcher. Foe hammer Praetor launcher. Anti-monster 4+, anti-vehicle 4+, blast heavy indirect fire. Strength 4. Each time it makes an attack with its Praetor launcher, doesn't suffer the penalty to the hit roll. Attacking it not visible to it. Yeah. So it ignores indirect fire penalty. You get cover though, and it is heavy, so it can hit on 2s without needing a sentinel. Wounds monsters vehicles on 4s, but they probably save on like 3s or 2s. So you're probably not doing too much damage actually. For 225. Yeah, compared to the other indirect fire in the faction, this is like sort of worthless. Insane. Compare this thing to a fucking Manticore and then go cry yourself to sleep. At least it has an anti-infantry shot, right? 2d6 blast, ignore cover. It's pretty good. Crassus. Ooh, has fire support. Oh, that's a good ability. And can carry 35 infantry models. Oh my god. What? No firing deck, though. 35 infantry. You, like, run out of the space to disembark them all if you need to. It actually doesn't seem that good. It seems like too much transport capacity. You can calm down. It's okay. How many points is a Crassus? 180 for basically what is solely a transport. Has 4 heavy bolters. Yeah. You just take a slightly more efficient transports, I think, for sure. Yeah, the indirect wire is insane, for sure. I agree. Isn't that so? Colossus heavy mortar. Let's go. Anytime it's selected to shoot, provided it remains stationary, its Colossus siege mortar has anti-monster 5, anti-vehicle 5. And the siege mortar, strength 6, AP 1, D6 plus 2 damage. Devastating wounds. But only D6 shots. Expensive? 130? That's a little dicey. D6 shots is like, meh. That's a cool ability, though. It is spiky. It's not heavy either, so you're really inconsistent. You hit on 4s, 3s if you can see them with a sentinel. But then you're fishing for 5s. You're like fishing for a good shot count, fishing for good hit rolls, fishing for good wound rolls. It's like you're fishing all the way. And then, I mean, if you get it through, it's D6 plus 2 mortals, but eh. Valdor! It's you, Valdor! You're there. The funny meme is the Hades truck can take an Earthshaker carriage in Team Strike. It's like 3 times as long as the vehicle. They like telescope it once it gets out. It's like one of those like prop stabs that magicians have that like fold in, and they just like bounce it on the ground and the whole artillery piece like unfurls. Valdor is a 2+ save. Targets monsters vehicles, it rerolls the damage roll. Oh, okay. 20 wounds. Hits on 4s. It's a heavy weapon, so you can get it to hit on 2s if you really need to. And it's equipped with 1 neutron laser. For how many points? 285. Fuck me. The points values in this codex are just all over the fucking place. It's so confusing. 285 for 2 las cannons It's 2 las cannons strapped together. What are you talking about? You can take 1 more las cannon. Yeah, so it's a neutron laser, 2 like buffed las cannons, and then 1 regular las cannon for 285 points. It's tough to kill. T13 2 plus save. It's not gonna die, but like, whatever. It's also not doing any damage. Wild. All right, let's move on. More Astra Militarum. Avenger Strike Fighter. For 130. It's a non-hover aircraft. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, another Astra Militarum unit within 6 of it is destroyed by an attack made by a unit with fly. All right, too many riders. Then you can shoot at it. Okay. You can shoot at it with your crappy heavy bolter. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, I will. The Voss Pattern Lightning. Gets -1 to be hit. It is interesting. It's going to be like a kind of a... When we're reviewing aircraft, it's important to remember that they don't get the hard-to-hit baked in. Because that is something from previous editions that you have to kind of cycle through your head. I mean, it's been like 6 years, right? And that aircraft have had the hard-to-hit rule just like stuck on them. And not having that now is kind of insane. The Voss Lightning has 2 las cannons and a lightning missile rack. So 4 d6 damage shots. That is good damage if it's cheap. For 130. Is that good? The weird thing about these is that... Oh, they're not squadron keyworded, so you can't order them. So they're just going to hit on 4s. Yeah. That's a little bit awkward. The 4+ ballistic skills is awkward there, right? Oh, the Colossus doesn't have interact? I didn't even notice. That's probably a mistake, right? Because it's a mortar. Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine that's a mistake. That might get updated. But I guess right now it doesn't shoot over walls, which is a little bit weird for it being a mortar. The Thunderbolt. It's 190. Gets +1 to hit against fly. Has nose autocannons, 2 las cannons. The nose autocannons, 4 shots twin linked, but hit on 4s. And then anti-fly 2+ missiles and a las cannon. Yeah. Not for 190, thank you. I will be okay. The Vulture gunship makes a return. It has... it has 2 multiple rocket pods, and you can replace them with the rotary cannons. So the rocket pods, it would be 2d6, strength 6, AP 0, 1 damage. Ew, that sucks. Yeah, you'd get rid of that for sure. That's garbage. What? you trade +1 strength and blast for like 4 times as many shots. Oh, I guess lower range, but sustained hits as well. It forces battle shock checks. This thing's actually pretty sweet. So it's 36, strength 5. For 225 though. Probably too expensive. For sure, certainly too expensive. It's hard to kill. It's a 2+ save. Aircraft like always have cover now because you put their base behind a ruin and then their model can see over. And they get like the towering treatment basically, right? T10 2+ is okay, but it's shooting like strength 5, AP 0 kind of garbage attacks. If that was like AP 2, I think you'd probably see that thing. Yeah, Lord Solar can order these for sure. Yeah, but you can't do it off of like tank commanders, right? Because that requires squadron. Marauder Bomber. There's 3 mortal wounds with its heavy bombs. Does it do all of its bombs? Oh no, you can pick one. They can either mount regular bombs or inferno bombs. So 3 mortal wounds to non-monster vehicle, probably 4 to monsters or vehicles. Inferno bombs is 3 to monsters and vehicles. Probably 4 to other people. So you get to pick what its bombs are good against. But the bombs are pretty good. And then how many guns does it have on it? 2 heavy bolters, 2 last cannons. And I bet it's like 300 points. These things, at least these things can fit on the table now. 345. God damn it, dude. This doesn't do anything. Why doesn't it bomb everything it moves over? Why does it pick one thing and then does like a mediocre number of mortal wounds? This is trash. Fuck me. Marauder Destroyer. The Marauder Destroyer has like a better, almost strictly better bomb. Why? What? It does the same average mortal wounds, but to everything instead of having to pick a target. That's so stupid. And has more guns. And it's 30 points more, I guess. But also, you'd never take these. I don't know. These aircraft seem bad. Tarantula Battery. Overwatch for 0. Whoa! Let's go! Take up to 3 Tarantula Sentries. Yeah, these are the little bleep bloop pew pew pew. Little spider dudes that sit and shoot. I really like the model for the Tarantulas. Rapier Laser Destroyers. Let's go. Twin linked. 36-inch range las cannon. They get lethal hits if they are being affected by an order and remain stationary. You can take 3 Laser Destroyers. Or oh, here they are. 90 points, 30 points a model. Is that good? How many points is like a heavy weapons team, right? Because you get these are 2 attacks twin linked, and they are heavy. So if you remain stationary and order them, they hit on 2s and get lethal hits and reroll wound rolls. Well, they're only AP2 though. Weird. Weird. That's a good volume of fire for 30 points a model though. Oh yeah, they already have lethal hits. You're right, yeah. When they remain stationary. Well, this, yeah. So they'll just get it anyway. Currently. But that's a good call out that it is future proofing. The Hades Breaching Drill sets up a unit out of Deep Strike from Strategic Reserve and is sweet in melee. Let's go. How many points is the Breaching Drill? 110. And you can set up like a 20 model unit, right? What's the best infantry unit to set up with these guys? What's the scariest one? I don't know if any Militarum infantry are really scary right now, right? Because there's no like Kazarkin teams we could just like randomly drop on people. I don't know if there's something I'm not thinking of. It is good to, I mean, just be deep striking people and then having like a pretty decent gun. Trojan support vehicle. Ooh. Gives reroll hit rolls of 1. How much is this friend? 80? Is the Trojan support vehicle good again? These things used to get stapled to the back of the super heavies because they gave +1 to hit. But now you can get +1 to hit from the... Oh, I keep missing the Astra Militarum one. Now you can get +1 to hit from the what's the word? Orders. The engine seers no longer give +1 to hit. So you can give +1 to hit and reroll 1s to like a super heavy tank. Deathcore of Krieg with a Marshal? Yeah. You can also, the regular command squad gives them a Feel No Pain too, right? He doesn't necessarily need the Marshal. I guess the Marshal's cheaper. With the regular command squad, you can attach bodyguards and stuff too, right? So they actually like do something in melee. Inky, hello. Also, oh, you can't have this guy stack with the engine seer. That sucks. You can't heal 2d3. I bet the Trojan support vehicle is actually sweet though. Reroll hit rolls of 1 on like a big Bane Blade with a billion attacks is like solid. I like this thing. Anytime you can buff the super heavies with something is awesome. Honestly, that might the stupid Medusa or the Medusa carriage is really dumb looking. And then that and the Trojan support vehicle seem solid. Could also just be like pointing that at Manticores and we were giving them rerolls. All right, let's move on. Who's next? We went through all 2 sections of Astra Militarum. We talked about Titans. Necrons should be short, right? Oh no, they have all the Acanthrite stuff. Tombstalkers. Go take a look at our Munitorum field manual here. Necrons are page 24. So Tombstalkers for 130. Go away, Trojan Sport Vehicle. You're also green. I got confused. Heroic Intervenes for free. That's ability is... They think it's better than it is. But people just generally play around it. I haven't found that to be super awesome. Or you just run into melee at the end that kills you. They do have a 4+ invulnerable save, I guess because they have the cool like phasing thing, right? We have Gauss Slicers, which is mediocre. They're tough to kill. 4+ invuln save, 4+ Feel No Pain against Psychic. Can they take a Gloom Prism? No, they just have one. Which is honestly good. If Thousand Suns are as good as people think they are, then that is actually going to be okay. And then get +1 to hit from the Canoptic control node. They're not very good at melee, though. Tomb Sentinel. Now we're talking. The Exile Cannon's still solid. I kind of expected that to do devastating, right? Because it doesn't just like send you into a black hole. Worsen the armor penetration characteristic of enemy attacks by 1. And it improves its own armor penetration characteristic if it attacks someone within range of an objective marker. Importantly, neither of these check to whether or not you control the objective marker. So its Exile Cannon actually goes to 3 damage. This is cheaper than this? What? This thing rocks. So this is 110 points for an 18-inch range strength 10 AP2 2 damage gun, which really becomes an AP3. This thing's actually sweet. And it gets like little armor of contempt, so it can go to like a 2+ save, kind of. It'll save again on 3s if it's in cover against las cannons. And anything higher than AP. Is that right? No. Just kidding. It ignores AP2 if it's in cover, basically. The worsening armor penetration is kind of really weird. It affects AP1 melee attacks and AP2 if it's in cover. But otherwise it just goes in its invulnerable save. It's a strange ability. But giving itself +1 AP is solid. Yeah, 110 points. That's like unironically pretty good. And it has a Gloom Prism. Let me tell you, as someone who plays almost exclusively factions with nothing but psychic shooting, Gloom Prisms are a fucking nightmare. So, I actually think a Gloom Prism is like a pretty good effect to have. Acanthrites, which are 85 points for 3.
In your shooting phase, after this unit hits shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of these attacks until the end of the phase. Each time a Necron model makes an attack that targets that unit on a critical wound. Oh. I was like, what? +1 AP against the unit they shoot at? This is sweet. On a critical wound. Get fucking wrecked. Get out of here. Acanthrites. Yeah, meh. For like 29 points a model? Whatever. They have a regular Melta-gun. Who cares? Tesseract Arc. Enemy units are -2 to charge it. Although, now that you can attack anything when you declare a charge, you can just charge something next to it, and you don't have to actually do it. But then you have to go base to base with that thing. It's like a whole deal. So it's not quite as cut and dry as you'd think. So they have the Singularity Chamber, 2 Tesla cannons, and they can replace them with particle beamers or Gauss cannons. I guess the Gauss cannons are okay. Particle beamers are a weird profile. Being blast is sad. But the Singularity Cannon is a 36-inch range, strength 9 EP 3d6 plus 1, so it's a little shitty las cannon. Or it's a little cool heavy flamer. 12-inch range, ignore cover torrent for d6 plus 3 shots, strength 6 AP 1 2 damage. How many points? Show me the points. 130. 130? Fuck. Okay. After looking at the Militarum Codex, because everything in that Imperial Armor Index was like a 2+ save, 112 wounds. They all got like a 200-point bump for being impossible to kill. 130 for this thing is like probably fine, right? I don't know if it's good, but it's a 4+ Embalm. It's only 10 wounds. It's hard to charge. It has a sweet flamethrower. I guess it's like, would you spend 55 more points for a Doomsday Arc? And the answer is always yes. So maybe I'm not that excited about it. It's just, this gun was slightly higher strength. I think you would rock these things all the time. Sereptech Heavy Construct. Do Necrons have any anti-X weapons? That's a good question. To force critical wounds through? Where you at, Necrons? Bloop. Bloop. I don't know what this is keying onto right now. Catan Shard of the Deceiver goes to AP3 with Cosmic Insanity. Anti-character 4. Void Dragon. The Obelisk's Tesla Sphere. And then the, Times Arrow. So the answer is basically just Catan stuff. Heavy Construct forces Battle Shock checks in the fight phase, which is fine, I guess. Each time it makes a normal move, it moves over stuff. How many points are we looking at for this gentleman? 470? Fuck. Why are Imperial Knights so cheap compared to everyone else's super heavy? It's insane. Imperial Knights are like a full 100 points cheaper than any other equivalent, and they're just almost strictly better in every way. That's so weird. I guess because I don't know. Because the other ones have like awkward support in their own faction, but do they though? This shoots. Basically gets 2 of whichever one you pick. So either 16 sustained hits, crappy heavy bolter with the Synaptic Obliterator, Singularity Generators, 2d6 blast, strength 10 AP 3 4 damage with devastating wounds. I think you just shoot that gun, right? Like you just windmill slam that one every time, or you could take the strength 24 AP 4 d6 plus 4 damage. This isn't Canoptech. I guess if you have it hits on 2s if you have the dude with the what is it? Coronal thing to count everybody as being in having an unattached leader. So you can give it +1 to hit. So at least it can hit on 2s, wound on 2s with the big laser beam, but it's a lot of failure points. And d6 plus 4 damage doesn't, like, kill you on a conversion. I don't know what the math would say. But I'm overall not that excited about it. It's just a shitty knight. What if they want to push new plastic kits? Is that a plastic Acheron? Maybe. That would be cool. It's nice if the Cerastus Knight Lancer is playable, because it did get plasticified. Alright. Anyway, I don't know how to feel about the Strategic Heavy Construct. It feels like a really bad knight. And it also doesn't feel like it meshes particularly well with the Necron infrastructure of being an impossible to kill infantry brick. So I think you just leave it at home. Which is sad. Imperial Knights we talked about. Astra Militarum we talked about. Adeptus Custodes. Oh, this is a short list now. I was kind of mentally preparing myself for a 100-page document, but now it is exactly 2 data sheets. Oh boy, the great legending has taken its toll on the Adeptus Custodes. Holy shit. The Astraeus. So we take a look here. That's Space Marines. The Astraeus is 525 points. That's a lot of points. It is a 2+ save, which is good. That's a good start. It suppresses somebody it shoots at. And it gets 2 Las Rippers that can be replaced with Plasma Eradicators. That used to just be an auto swap. You'd always take the Plasma Eradicators. Even though I liked the Las Rippers because rolling out 6 Las Cannon shots was always really fun. You can replace your Heavy Bolter with the Las Cannon, which you'll always do. And you can take a Heavy Stubber, which you'll always do. And then it has a Twin Macro Accelerator on top. So the Las Rippers are just 2-shot Las Cannons. So you would always take them over the Plasma Eradicator, I think. You lose 1.5 shots, but get +4 strength and plus, like, 2 damage. Windmill Slam. The Macro Accelerator is 12 shot sustain hits when twin-linked. It went down. Its equivalent strength and AP went down a lot. But it stayed at 3 damage. So it's just 2 big autocannons, but they twin-link now. Also, oh, it only suppresses with its accelerator cannon. That's sad. Yeah. It also doesn't have Void Shield, so it's actually, like, way easier to kill, because it used to be the equivalent of 36 wounds. And now it's just 24, but has a 5+ invuln. Yeah, I don't know if I like you, Astraeus. Plus, it not only does it not fly, but it also doesn't have old fly, so it gets stuck behind terrain. Yeah, I think the Astraeus is kind of terrible. That's too bad. We just watched Astraeus yesterday, and it was fucking sick. It was like running that table for a while. What about the Tendi Hot Gunship, though? Kept all the shots and got twin links, but lost AP. Yeah, also Strength 9 is not quite Strength 8, though. Strength 8 is like the equivalent of like new Strength 10. So the Strength 9 AP 1 is like a real bad profile. You'll convert like most of your shots, and then your opponent just saves them all. And you're like, all right, cool. I'm glad I had that experience. You could Storm of Fire it, and it does good damage, but you could also Storm of Fire most of the rest of the game. You can Storm of Fire a unit that doesn't cost 525 points and then shoots harder. Yeah. If that was like, honestly, if this was like 400-ish, I think you'd probably consider it. But for 500 plus, no way. Compare this to any knight. Compare this to the Knight Porphyrion, which is like 100 points more. And it's like not even close. It's ridiculous. The comparison is just so stupid. The more I think about that Porphyrion, the more it might just be broken. It's like just shitting D6 plus 6 damage gunshots with towering. It's like, anything that's not like an infantry unit just dies, and then it even blasts against infantry. Like, I don't know. 450 maybe. But it doesn't even synergize that well with Oaths, right? Because you're going to Tech Marine it, so it's going to hit on 2s anyway, so it doesn't need the hit rerolls, really. And it already rerolls its wound rolls on the accelerator. So it's like, why do I need Oaths' Moment for this thing? It helps with the las cannons, for sure. Like, you get 6 las cannon shots on it, or 5 lance cannon shots with a twin-linked one. But literally 80% of its attacks already reroll their wound rolls. And most of them hit on 2s with sustain, so they should convert 100%. So Oaths really only helps the 2 Las Ripper shots and the heavy stubber, I guess. The Porphyrion could get the AP reducer. Oh my god, that's true, right? Because it's not Dominus classed. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. The more I think about it, the more it's like 2 high strength and 2 high damage. I think if it wasn't for the broken ass towering rule, it would probably be okay, because you would just play the delaying game. But because it's towering, it can see most of the table all the time, and it's really problematic. I am a little bit worried. Time to make a video about the Porphyrion. Let's go. At least it doesn't have a bondsman ability, I guess. At least there's that. All right, Thunderhawk gunship. The Tendy Hawk, what do we get? T12 2+ save. We're starting strong. I love that. You can also Armor of Contempt these things, which is important to keep in mind. Each time a unit with the Deep Strike ability disembarks from this unit after it has made a normal move, it's still eligible to do their charge. That's weird. So you can deep strike. You can just drop Terminators from the sky onto people. Bloop, bloop. Canonically, they like drop Terminators from orbit, some like Terminator armor from orbit, right? So it's like it actually is just survivable enough to survive like high impact drops. So you like actually kick them out the assault ramp. Go get them, boys, and they just flop on the ground. I don't know how they get up if they like land face down. They have to land feet first, otherwise they're stuck. Also, those things are like 3 tons, right? So they just like drill themselves into the earth. All right, what does it have? It has a Thunderhawk cannon and can replace it with a laser destructor. It has a bunch of heavy bolters, but they're stuck in, and then cluster bombs. And you can replace the cluster bombs with the Hellstrike missile battery. The Hellstrike missile battery is not that good, but given that it only bombs on like turn 4, maybe you just take it. The Thunderhawk heavy cannon, D6 plus 6 shots, strength 10, AP 2, 3 damage, or the laser destructor, which is basically just the Porphyrion gun we were just talking about. D3 plus 1, strength 20, AP 4, D6 plus 6. This thing does hover. So you can start it on the table. Is that good? Then you could actually bomb people on turn 2. How many points is Thunderhawk? They're actually playable in points now. 840? Ew. Just kidding. Maybe too expensive. Sorry. Sorry, Thunderhawk. I think you're going to get blowed up, my guy. Being just like a regular Imperial Knight, but having less guns on you is a little bit awkward in terms of survivability. But I'm guessing you get a Porphyrion video? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Also, like, I like all these Knight players who are like, guys, towering's fine because Imperial Knights are easy to kill and you can always see them, so they can't even hide. So, like, you need to have towering be able to shoot at enemies, right? Because then it's fair. Except that, like, clearly their weapons are longer range and do more damage than, like, anything else in the game. So, is it fair? I'm not sure. Grey Knights. I'm not sure I love the Thunderhawk, chat. I like that you can use it to carry Terminators and then use it as a faster assault ramp. But as the cost of 3 Land Raiders stuck together, it's a little pricey. It is, in most cases, it probably can't be killed on the first turn though, right? Because it's like a 1+ save. and then it's just a very expensive transport. So I think instead of the Mastodon memes that we had from 9th edition, we're going to have Thunderhawk gunship memes because it's basically the same list archetype. You just like start a Thunderhawk on the table. Actually, the issue with the Thunderhawk is that this is probably important to talk about. The problem with the Thunderhawk is that, to my knowledge, it doesn't have a base on it. Which means it actually hull measures, so you're required to assemble it with the landing gear down, and you just put it on the ground, which means that because it hull measures, it has to like move its wings around intervening terrain and stuff, and so that actually becomes problematic. It gets difficult to move around the table, I think, because you have to put it landed. Unless it does come with a base, and I'm stupid. But I don't think it does. It doesn't say that it does. Yeah. Yeah, the issue is that, like, you want it to deliver... I mean, its firepower's good, right? The big laser cannon, like 2 las cannons is fine to have. The big laser cannon's solid. But the issue is that it takes up the points that you would be spending on the unit that it's delivering, right? I'm feeling like 600-ish for the Thunderhawk, right? Instead of like 825. You'd pay Astreus points for a Thunderhawk any day. But the issue is that it's just upcharged for no reason. It's a cool-ass model, though. The Thunderhawk is so rad. I like how it's $1 per point. Oh, it's more than $1 per point, right? Disgusting. Yuck. Yuck. Oh, well. You know what gets killed by a Porphyrion? This fucking guy. The Porphyrian's just gonna roll this thing up into a little ball and throw it in the garbage. What are we looking at next? Oh yeah, Grey Knights. They can take a cool Land Raider. What's its transport capacity? 12, so 6 Terminators, maybe. How many points is it? Yeah, Grey Knights. 21, 255. So compared to the regular Land Raider, it is like, it's Crusader Plus, and it has 2d6 shots incinerators. Oh, well, that's just worse than the Redeemer. Do they get Redeemers? They do. I guess it's 40 points less than a Redeemer, but the Redeemer has a 2 damage gun, right? Yeah, so it shoots like roughly the same number of attacks as the Redeemer's Flamestorm, but is less AP and less damage. Oh, but it's 6 inches longer range, I guess. Kind of who cares, though. I mean, you are spending like 50 points less on this thing. So it's just like it's just a cheap Redeemer with a side cannon on top instead of a heavy bolter. Great. That's what Grey Knights wanted. They wanted to be the Land Raider Redeemer from Wish. And then a Thunderhawk gunship, which we just talked about, which I imagine is the same points value as the other one. 805, yeah. Is theirs cheaper? I thought it was 850. Oh, weird. They just pay 40 points less for their Thunderhawk. I don't know. Maybe because I don't know why. The AliExpress Land Raider. What? Why would the Grey Knights Land Raider be cheaper than the other one, chat? It's the same profile, right? It's identical. Is it that, like, they don't have Assault Terminators? But, like, you can put Grey Knight Terminators in this thing. You can put anything and charge out of it. It's actually better in the Grey Knight's faction because every model deep strikes, right? So Aerial Assault just synergizes better with the faction. Can you carry Nemesis Dread Knights? No. No Dreadnoughts at all. Sad. Does the regular one carry Dreadnoughts? What are these? Oh, Combat Patrols, of course. Oh, it can't transport Centurions or Mounted, but those don't exist. No need for paint. Oh, it's just because of Oaths of Moment, maybe? I guess. And I guess, like, if you're embarking, then you're not using Teleport Assault. Alright. Alright, I'll buy it. Yeah, no Oaths of Moment. That is different. It does, unironically, it does seem much better in Grey Knights, though. Right? Because you can just, like, deploy it on the line. I wish they had smoke. If they had smoke, I would feel really good about this and make it -1 to hit in turn 1. But you just deploy it on the line, put like 30 fucking Strike Marines in it, and then like say go, and like you just move it 20 inches forward, disembark 30 Strike Marines, and then charge your opponent with them. I feel like this ability was not well thought out. Is the Grey Knights Thunderhawk gunship like actually the truth for Grey Knights? Is that actually how you play Grey Knights? Like, I don't know if, like, that's actually probably kind of okay, right? What do Strike Marines do in melee? What's the strongest melee, the highest efficiency melee unit in the Grey Knights faction? Maybe Grey Knights are just, like, so wildly overcosted that it doesn't really matter. Everything's like Strike 6 AP2-2, right? But Strike Marines... Their objective secured. Who has the Hammer Hand? Oh, these guys. They get lethal hits if they make a charge. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter because everyone kind of sucks in melee, actually. You can give them devastating wounds for 2 CP, but you don't have 2 CP on the first turn. Yeah, maybe actually this sucks. Man, Grey Knights like are rough. How come Nemesis Demon Hammers have the same weapon, the same profile as Force Hammers, as Force weapons? That's stupid. They need an anti-tank melee weapon in their units. Like, you could deliver Voldus, I guess. He's good at fighting. And he gets, like, the Mortal Wound thing. So, like, whatever unit he's in, I guess. You could just, like, deliver all the combat characters in the first turn. But then you're spending, like, all of your money on characters in one Thunderhawk gunship. He also doesn't even give the deep strike thing, because you're not actually deep striking. You're just deploying out of a transport. And you can't put Nemesis Dread Knights in it. If you could put Nemesis Dread Knights in it, that would probably be fine. Brother Captain Stern's pretty good. Critical wounds, you do a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. These guys just nuke people, right? That's pretty good, too. I guess, alright, you have chaplains to give +1 to wound. That's something. So, like, the Terminators are 4 attacks with lethal. They can't add, like, lieutenants, though. Paladins are 4 attacks on 2s. With transhuman. Purifiers get +1 to hit if they are wounded, but they're not. And they only have 3 attacks. So maybe it's just like a unit with a chaplain in it. But he can only join Terminators, right? Because they have this like... They have this compunction about having different armored models join different teams. So it's like Terminators with a chaplain. Doesn't even seem that good. They should make a gunship that uses a baby carrier to transport a Dreadnought. Well, I thought it was a thing that... Maybe I'm just thinking of the Stormraven gunship that has the winch in the back that carries Dreadnoughts around. I thought that Thunderhawks could carry fucking Dreadnoughts, dude. Could they not? Maybe that's a 9th edition thing. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. If they could transport Dreadnoughts, I feel like that list would be amazing. Can they not? Could they not transport Dreadnoughts? The Dreadnoughts last edition? Oh no, they couldn't. Maybe I'm thinking of like the Thunderhawk transporter. Did that have a... Oh, it had a Legends data sheet. Oop. That's too bad. Two vehicle models from the following list, which also did not include Dreadnoughts. So maybe I'm literally just thinking of the Stormraven gunship. Whatever. Get wrecked, Thunderhawk. I'm trying, Grey Knights players. I'm trying so hard. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for you with my own Grey Knights army. I'm like, I want this faction to be playable, but man, they did them dirty. Hot diggity damn. Custodes. So the Adrasite and Pyrothite Spears. Guard Squad. These have a weird composition, right? Oh no, they can all just have Pyrothite Spears. Okay, but there's only 5 of them. And they have Adrasite Spears. So the Adrasite Spear is Strength 5, AP 2, 3 damage. And the Pyrothite Spear is Strength 9, AP 4, D6 damage, but shoots lower range. I feel like you would just take the shorter range one that actually does damage, because you're going to deep strike them, probably. They get... Well, they are within range of an objective marker you control. You can reroll the wound roll. Once per battle at the start of the shooting phase, you can gain lethal hits and ignore cover. Unironically, this unit seems actually sick. Hold up. Back to my points document. How many points are you? Studies at page 3. Custodian Guards with Adrasite and Pyrothite Spears. So the 5 models for 325. So they're 65 points each. So they are significantly costlier than regular Custodian Guards. Because regular Custodian Guards are 45. So they're 20 points more. But they just like deep strike on... They like deep strike towing on an objective and then shoot 5 meltas with basically full rerolls. Maybe that's okay. They are expensive the more I think about it. Sagittarum. They suppress non-monsters and vehicles. Their bolt caliber are kind of bad. Once per battle at the start of the shooting phase, you can use the ability. You get devastating wounds. This is what their underslung gun does. Yeah. No wonder that they cost the same as regular guys, because they gain the suppression thing. Uh-oh. Sorry. I think he's about to... Oh, sorry about that, chat. Inky was coughing up, or We're trying to cough up a hairball. Probably have to deal with that in a bit, but there you go. Javi Accord, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Appreciate you. Swarmlord or Screamer Killer? Can I post my 2,000 point meta Nids army? I mean, I can post the army I was playing. I don't know if it's particularly meta, but I kind of stopped playing it. You generally want you for sure want Swarmlord. Screamer Killers are terrible. Here is what I was playing. I'll just post it in the chat here. So I have a bunch of games on VODs with that list. It's fine. I'm not really sure what Tyranids are supposed to be doing, but it's basically whatever you do, you start with 18 Zoanthropes, and then you go from there. You 18 Zoanthropes in one of the Hive Tyrant varieties, just to give you free strats and stuff. I like the Exocrine with the Zoanthropes to give them the range buff. I like Venomthropes to give them stealth. I'm kind of not really sold on the Harospexes. They're really cheap, but they're like kind of shitty. So it might be that you just play infantry and you just try to play like primary objective control, I think is how you're actually supposed to play the faction. So I don't think it's like a monster mash list anymore, unfortunately. So I wouldn't consider that list to be like super meta. I would consider that list to be a starting point. But I would probably, I think the next time I try it, I'll probably just play the Zoanthropes and then flip most of the other components into infantry. You might cape the Carnifexes and Old One Eye. And then everything else is like Gants, like Hormigons probably, just to run for objectives. All right, so what we were talking about, Sagittarum. They're the same cost as regular Custodians, I think. But they have a good gun, but they lose rerolls, so I don't think they're very good anymore, unfortunately. Aquilons. T7, 2+4+, 4 wounds. So they're the same defensive profile as the other Terminator. What are they called? Alaris. And they have... Oops. Any number of models can replace their Lastrum Stormbolter with a Fire Pike. And they can replace their Solarite Power Gauntlet with a Solarite Power Talon. So the Fire Pike is Ignore Cover Torrent. It's just a Heavy Flamer, basically. It's an identical profile to a Ministorum Heavy Flamer. Or they take a Strength 5 AP 1 Rapid Fire 2 gun. Or they take a Twin Adrathic Destructor, which is fucking rad. Okay. You probably just play that gun. It's only one shot. Strength 6 AP 2, 3 damage, twin linked. Okay. Oh, they already rerolled their rerolls of 1, so there's a little bit of reroll. Their wound rolls of 1, excuse me. So there's like a little bit of reroll overlap. The power gauntlets are strength 8 AP 2, 2 damage, so they're just a power fist. The power talons are just more attacks, but only strength 7, 1 damage. And once per battle, you can put them into strategic reserve. They don't seem better than the Alaris Custodians, honestly, that get rerolls against monsters and vehicles. Yeah, I feel like you just play Alaris. Contemptor Aculus. So this is the sword and board guy, right? Oh no, this is the spear guy. I forget. Yeah, Aculus is the spear guy. They do mortal wounds when they fight. They have a crappy one-shot gun. And they're 5 attack, strength 12, AP2, D6 + 1. AP2 rears its ugly head again. If you're getting a move 6 Dreadnought into melee GW, it should be good once it gets there. They are a 2+ base save, which is good. How many guns do they have? They have 2 Lastrum Stormbolters and can replace them with Adrathic Destructors, which you'll probably just do. These seem fine, but they're expensive, right? They're like 170? 155? I mean, the Dread Spear wounds like basically every vehicle it charges on a 2 or a 3. unless it's a big knight. But it's a move 6 vehicle. You're never going to get that into melee. And you can't deep strike it. I don't know. I kind of, if you could, well, maybe you strategic reserve and you like, rapid ingress these guys. Maybe that's the intended play pattern. Adeptus Custodes, which are the dick bike guys. Gets turbo boost. They get a shoot and scoot, but they don't fly. They have new flying. They're mounted, so they can't go through walls, so they get stuck moving away from people. So you move it forward, but it's only once per game. They have an Interceptor Lance and a Drathic Destructor, or a Drathic Devastator, which is higher strength but not twin linked, which is not great. Or a Laz Pulsar, which is strength 9, AP 1, 2 damage, twin linked. AP 1 though, ugh. And they pick one. Kind of feel like you take the Laz gun, just for their wound rerolls. Are these better than the other bikers? You lose the bombing effect, but you get a better gun, right? Because their guns are strength 8. In these ones, you can take strength 9 twin linked. But even then, I'm not that excited about it. How many points are they? Are they cheap? Adeptus Custodes. Nope, they're super fucking expensive. They're like 93 points a model. Fuck me. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, not psyched about that for a 4 wound model. No. How did the Achilles lose 50% of its movement speed? I don't know, man. Great question. That's a wonderful question. Venatati! They have Lance and Melee if they take the Lance. That's solid. How many points? They're just the same melee output as the bikes, but they can go through walls. Venatati. Oh, they're expensive. 75 points. Is that right? 76 or 70, like 78. Ugh. These values are so fucking pricey. I feel like, I don't know, a lot of this would, if they could fix like the damage values of the game, where there's not these like random spikes in damage, I feel like Custodians would be a lot better. But right now it's like this unit's gonna drop like peek its little head out of cover and then get 1 decan into the face, and the whole unit's gonna vaporize. You're gonna lose 250 points. You can rapid ingress them for 0. That's good. That's very good. They actually have a 2+ save, not an awkward 3+ save. 2. And there's strength 7, AP 2, 2 damage lance, which is good. 5 attacks a model, so 15 attacks out of a unit of 3. And they shoot strength 4, AP 1, 2 damage. Yeah, whatever. I like this profile, but I don't know if I like it for 80 points a model. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not super familiar with the Custodes index. Like, maybe I'm missing some, like, internal synergy here that makes them, like, super worth a million points. It feels like they're way too expensive. Where is the Custodes one? Oh, it's on the side. Next to Deathwatch. So they get Kataz, which can give them sustained 1 or lethal 1 in melee. Which is good. We have a 4+ against mortals. They can get +1 to wound monsters or vehicles, but the lance guys already have +1 to wound. So any of these lance profiles that we're talking about doesn't benefit from that. Which is like most of them. Everybody's got lance already. It's good for the Custodians, I guess. Yeah. More points than 5 custodians, yeah. I mean, they are 30 points more than a regular custodian guard. That's like, that adds up. Get rid of this Grey Knight index. Below starting strength, you can get bonuses if your unit's getting clapped. And you can get -1 damage against you. So they're like, only super effective stratagems are like anti-synergistic with the lance weapon. I mean, not that it's bad. Like, the lance is already a good profile, but there's not like a... They also lost movement. They're 10 inches of movement. Fallback shooting charge is good, but they're just going to die on this in the crackback. Like, there's no way this unit just doesn't get vaporized as soon as they deep strike. I think that you, at least like with a free rapid ingress, you're basically guaranteed a good turn out of them, right? So like maybe Venatari are good. But I don't know. I don't think they're just so expensive. Palace Gravitax have a shitty heavy bolter. With devastating wounds and twin link though, and you get +1 to wound against stuff below half strength. Yeah, that's probably fine profile. How many points? Probably like 200. Ready? Palace Grab Attack. 120. That's like you're comparing a T8 9 wound model to like a lot of like anti like battle tanks and other factions. Like, it's like 20 points less than a Gladiator Lancer. At least it's a 2+5+, so it's like legitimately difficult to get through those 9 wounds, to be fair. This thing's gonna stick around for a while, and the gun's not terrible, but low AP. It's kind of, you're like, I wound kind of consistently, but your opponent's like, that's okay, I'll just save it. The Telemonster. How many points? 235. That's not bad. T10, 12 wounds, 2+ save. -1 damage still. Is this good? Only T10 is a little bit low. Especially for how big these things are, and only 12 wounds. But it's 12 wounds with -1 damage. -1 damage is hard to come by, and -1 damage on a 2+ save. Just the Vixilla Magnifica, it only affects the unit that it's equipped to now, right? Because it's a unit upgrade to the dudes who hold it, and it gives them like -1 to be hit. It doesn't affect the other stuff. Oh no, it gives them +1 objective control. Just kidding. Yeah, get fucked. So you can't like give them perma cover anymore. That would be nice if you had like a defensor effect. So once they break cover, they're resilient on the first turn, but once they break cover, they're gonna get kind of lit up. They're 5 attack, strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage. And it starts with 2 Iliastics accelerators, which are strength 9, AP 1, 3 damage. So it's just a regular autocannon, which is not that great. It has a Spiculous Launcher which blasts now, I guess. And then the plasma projectors are solid little... the plasma projectors are pretty good. Strength 7, AP 2, 1 damage, but Torrent twin linked. Not that Torrent is particularly exciting in Custodes because they already hit on 2s anyway. So you can have 1 Accelerator, 1 Punchy Fist, and 1 Flamer. For some reason, you could have 2 Punchy Fists, but 2 Punchy Fists doesn't give you Twin Linked, like it does for everyone else in the game. So their weapons... I mean, that was always kind of the problem with Telemons, right? Is their weapons were always kind of garbage. They were just big, tough profiles. And I don't really see a super strong offensive profile here. It's like a worse Redemptor. Yeah, it's like a Redemptor, but it forgot its guns at home, right? It's like 2 higher wounds and has an invulnerable save, but it forgot how to shoot. And it doesn't have Oza moment. Caladius Grav Tank gets lethal hits against non-monsters and vehicles. Oh, with its accelerator cannon, Blaze Cannon gets lethal hits against monsters and vehicles. So the Blaze Cannon's twin linked anyway. That's a... Alright, that gun's pretty good. Okay, you got me. So the Iliasis is rapid fire 4 twin links. It shoots 8 shots at 24 inches. Strength 10, AP 1, 3 damage twin linked. Or you just take the cool Blaze Cannon, which is 4 shots, but shoots for d6 plus 2 damage. It's just a 4-shot. It's like a bunch of las cannons strapped together. How many points is the Gladius? That Blaze Cannon profile is pretty solid. Also, the twin bolt cannon is 3 shots, not twin linked. Do you think that's a mistake? Do you think that was supposed to have twin linked on it? Twin weapons usually have twin linked in my experience. 215? For T11, 2 plus 14 wounds? Holy shit. Actually, what the fuck? This thing's sick. Hold up. This thing rocks. Yeah, you just like windmill slam Caladi in your list now, right? These things are legit. Only 10-inch move. They dropped a lot of movement speed, but 10 inches is still fine. Yeah, this thing looks awesome. All right, I'm in. I'm in on the Caladius Grav Tank. Custodes, I'm glad you got. How's your tummy, kitty? Oh, you're going to step on the keyboard. Yeah, it's... I mean, I don't know about mulch, but it is just like a superior predator. It's a predator for a bunch more points, but is better in... You know, it's like 80 more points. It's like 50% more cost, but it's better in every way. It's like twice as hard to kill and hits like 30% harder. Ow. Shit. Yeah, I like this. I like this guy. Coronius Grav Carrier has fire support. I don't know if that's exciting. Most of the stuff this thing is carrying already gets wound rerolls anyway, right? Because the Alaris Custodians do it against monsters and vehicles, right? Regular Custodians do it against if they're on an objective. And Pyrothite Custodians do it also on an objective. This is actually probably best carrying Sagittarum, right? It's like the one unit that doesn't get rerolls. Or Wardens. But Wardens don't shoot that good, so you don't really care. Hilariously, you can put Sisters of Silence in it, right? Yeah. Do you put... Oops. I lost the profile. Shit. What if you put... What if you put 8 Witch Seekers in this unit, in this transport chat? Is that the secret technology? And then you get wound rerolls on your flamethrowers? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? The Orion Assault Dropship has an assault, and it's a hover gunship, so it... I mean, it just does the Thunderhawk thing we were just talking about, right? Where it just deploys on the line and then moves 20 inches forward and disembarks dudes in your face. For 700 points. It has an Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannon, but doesn't reroll. And it can carry 12 models. But the models it's carrying are actually scarier, right? This is probably good. So it's like a 1+, it's T12, like a 1+ save and cover. It probably doesn't die in the first round of shooting. And then you just like rocket it 20 inches forward and then just like beat on people. Does it shoot good? 2 heavy blaze can. Oh, it has 2 of those. Holy crap. All right, just kidding. 2 bolt cannons, 2 bolt launchers. So 2 of each. So it shoots 8 las cannon shots. and shoots 2d6 plus 12 blasts, 2 damage attacks, and has 6 heavy bolter shots for no reason. Is this sick? Hold up. wait. Is the Orion? I think the Orion assault dropship might be good. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, this is the shitty assault transport thing. It's not the charge out of disembark. It's advance and charge. Just kidding. So it's like probably fringe playable, but it doesn't seem that great. Yeah, no, you can't just like alpha strike people with this thing. It's so confusing that there's like 4 different varieties of this ability. There's disembark and advance and charge. There's advance and then disembark. There's move and then charge, and there's and then there's move and then advance, right? So dumb. All right, and they're all called assault something, whatever. Not great. The Ares gunship does not have a transport capacity. Has the big heavy blaze cannon. It has 2 heavy blaze cannons and a magna blaze cannon. So it's a 3 d6 plus the 6 damage shots and 8 d6 plus 1 damage shots. And it can bomb people. Oh, it gets rid of cover if it moves over people. And it bombs them. So it probably just bombs whatever it's about to shoot at and then lights them up. Blam, blam, blam. How many points? 580? It's certainly not a Porphyrion, but it's something. It's a doing something. Seems good. Yeah. I think, like, compared to some of the other stuff we talked about today, this doesn't seem that great, but if you want to make like a Custodes gun line, the Ares gunship seems like a solid include. Just a real big armor cracker. The Galatus Dreadnought, -1 to wound and melee, but it's move 6. It's got a twin-linked flamethrower and is scrappy in melee. Yeah, garbage. Sorry, Galatus Dreadnought. Strength 8, Strength 8, AP 2. Not cutting it these days. That's not gonna do much. It also used to get D3 extra attacks, right? Now it just doesn't. Yeah, it's not exciting. I guess it's just there to like stick people, but it's only T9. I mean, it's not gonna die in melee for sure, but you have to get there is the problem. Yeah, I'm not that excited about it. Callidius Grav Tank though, is solid. Yeah, move 6 on that stuff sucks. I mean, at least you guys got one good thing out of your Forge World. You could be a Tyranid player. You get a 655-point Harridan. Harridan looks okay, but I don't know if he looks okay for 655. All right, so what are we at? We're getting towards the end here. Imperial Armor Chaos Knights probably has all the same stuff we just talked about. Oh, good. We can take Porphyrions and Imperial and Chaos Knights too. That's cool. We're gonna do that every time. Drukhari just has the Tantalus, so we can't paid token this guy. He's a billion wounds, but again, Drukhari's saves suck, so they're just like gonna get shot. And this thing's huge, right? Because it's the double wide catamaran transport. It can transport 16 infantry, and it is firing deck 16. So if you want to siphon pain tokens into something, this is kind of the way to go. Can transport scourges? No, get wrecked. But this actually, you could put the Archon, the Court of the Archon in this thing, right? Because that's a 15 model unit, and this is the only thing that actually carries that. It has a good. It does mortal wounds on the charge. All right. Also, it deep strikes. Hold up. Wait a minute. So it has 12 shots. Strength 10, AP 2, 2 damage. Solid. They're also assault, but it only gets extra d6. I mean, it's 16-inch move, so it is fast enough move to like move around a wall and shoot. But if it does so, it can't shoot with the heavy weapons on the back of the transport. So you could either deep strike it and do like a sort of rapid ingress shenanigans, or just use a 16-inch move to like peek around the edge of a wall or something. And then you shoot with this plus an embarked Court of the Archon. And then full reroll, or hit reroll everything, right? So you're shooting like he lands a blaster plus 12 shots from the Tantalus. I bet that's okay. How many points? The question of the day. What are we at? Drukhari. 19. Nope. 230? Compare that to a regular Raider for 90. It's like 2.5 times a Raider, but you can actually carry your big unit. I actually don't hate this thing. Just because like you can really send your power from pain tokens a long way. You can affect like 15 individual attacks with one pain token on this thing. And then even if it goes down, you just lose the disintegrator shot, and then the whole Court of the Archon bails out, and you just lose like idiot splinter rifle dudes to the disembark. I think this is actually probably fine. And then having like mortal wounds in the charge thing is like also kind of okay. Drukhari's in a weird place right now, so I would kind of hope that Drukhari get like another touch up before too long. But I think there's a universe in which this actually is pretty good. And then Tyranids we already talked about. So we're on Tau Empire, which should be long. So I'm kind of excited. So we can guide these guys and give them sustain 1 or 2 at the end of the game right now. The Ravarna has battlesuit support. Also, they all probably get drones. Yeah, they do. Drones for free. We'll look at Tau Empire here. So Ravarna for 235. Has a big blast shot. Oh, that's not exciting. So it has 2 submunition cannons. So it shoots 2d6 plus 4 strength 8 AP 1/2 damage. Once per battle, when selected as a target of an attack, you can give itself transhuman. And you ignore hit modifiers. Yeah. Whatever. It's kind of tough, I guess. Straight T10, 2 plus 15 wounds. So it is like hard to kill. But it also doesn't do anything to you, because this gun is not going to be blowing people up. It's supposed to kill intercessors, it looks like, but nobody's... Outside of that one Black Templars list, I don't think anybody's that excited about shooting blast weapons at intercessors. Yavara battlesuit. It's the same defensive profile. Oh, but it's only T9. Or, yeah, T9 instead of T10, but it's faster. It has a 10-shot Ignore Cover Torrent Flamer, which honestly feels a little superfluous in the universe where you can just guide people for +1 to hit and ignore cover. Flamers are always good, but I don't know if a 1 damage flamer is really that exciting. It can fall back and shoot. It can get a big boost to its movement characteristic once per game. And you can ignore modifiers with the hit roll. Oh, that's if you take battlesuit support weapons? Oh no, it just has it built in, yeah. So you can ignore modifiers to hit roll with your torrent weapon. It does have both the Ion Discharge and the Flamer, but the Ion Discharge is strength 8. Tau really are just like, they're just having this strength 8 problem. Tetras. Each time it's an observer unit, until the end of the phase, you grant reroll hit rolls. Okay. And they infiltrate? How many points? 40 per model. But you have to take 2. And they are, I guess, for 40. They're a lot of wounds at T7, so they don't fall over. They don't do any damage. So the problem is that they're expensive for a spotter unit, right? Because, like, what are they competing with? Like Fire Strike Marksman? How much is a Fire Strike team? 50? Or 70? So they're 10 points more. They can be shot at, but they're fast enough that they probably hide, and then you just peek out and give her hit rerolls. Alright. Tetra's real good. I see what you're saying about Tetra's, chat. I see what you got. That seems solid. Remora stealth drones. Get to run away 6 inches, which is pretty alright. How many in a unit? 1 to 2? Just 2. Flat 2. Can't take the individuals anymore. They have seeker missiles and long-barreled burst cannons. They do hit on 4s. But I think you... Oh, they have marker lights too. So this is kind of another spotter unit. But again, like, the Tetra is just kind of the... Like, they also have marker lights. The Tetra is, like, unstoppable as a marker light unit. Also, Remora stealth drones are 80 points a model. Yeah, no. Not excited about that. Infiltrator stealth and move 16 is good, but, like, I mean, who cares? They're just hard to get to grips with, but you're not paying 160 points for a unit that doesn't die that easy. Taunar Supremacy. Let's go. So now we have to consider that we could give any of this stuff full rerolls to hit, which is kind of sweet. All right. Well, that's different. So they have either Triaxis ion cannons, or have 1 Triaxis ion cannon or 1 fusion eradicator. Oh, they have 1 of each, and they can swap them between the 2. Okay, that's confusing. Just why? All right, I don't know. And then they have pulse ordnance drivers that can be replaced with either 2 Nexus missile launchers or 1 heavy rail cannon array and cluster launcher. So the back guns are the ordnance drivers. So that's this shot, this gun, which is anti-infantry 2, strength 5, AP 1, 3 damage. 8 shots, so 24. Whatever. Anti-infantry 2. Who cares? I like that it gets reroll hit rolls of 1, but we're going to take Tetras, and we're going to give it full rerolls anyway. So we can also reroll 2s. So that, get out of here, that ability. I guess that's for when the Tetras are dead. The rail cannon array is 2 shots, strength 26. All right. It's devastating wounds for 16 damage. And that one gets, the rail cannon array gets the cluster shell launcher, which is just a little blast attack. Unnecessary. What is this profile? Imagine when you shoot like a big brick of like guardsmen, and you're like, all right, I rolled the 6, devastating, takes 16 mortal wounds. Yeah, it's 3 pulse ordnance, so it shoots 24 of the anti-infantry gun. But like, I mean, okay, I'm not that worried about killing infantry in Tau, honestly. Like everything randomly kills infantry. Like every, you know, it turns out whenever every one of your tanks is like 2 burst cannons on it, you're just gonna like shoot at infantry hardcore. Like I guess you could take like these and kill, I don't know, like Space Marine hordes or something, but who needs that? You also then get you get 2 Triaxis ion cannons, of course. And then it can take fusion eradicators, which are 5 shot, strength 10, AP 4, D6 damage, melta weapons. So how is it that the big cannons on the back of the Taunar Supremacy armor suit are less exciting than the arm weapons, the little arm weapons? So it either shoots 2d6 plus 6, strength 9, AP 3, 3 damage, or 10 strength 10, AP 4, D6 damage. I think you almost always take the fusion eradicators, right? I guess these shoot longer range, so maybe you don't. I guess it's kind of a what's the word? It's a trade-off. But they get a D6 plus 3 damage when they melt once you're within 12. Or it takes a Nexus missile launcher, which is sort of just flat terrible. The back guns are like, I mean, the rail cannon arrays are like really scary, right? You're just like one-shotting vehicles all day. But I think they're kind of all over the place. You're just like sort of hoping nobody like rolls devastating wounds. It's just a turn 3 with like it gets Tesla, right? Is this the Porphyrian rival? Well, how many points is it? Oh, 685. So it's like the same. I think unironically a Porphyrian just like wipes the floor with this guy, right? Because does this even kill a Porphyrian? Assuming it doesn't devastate, does this even kill a Porphyrian on the gunshot? On the initial attack? I'm not sure. I don't think so, right? It has to convert both rail cannons. Maybe it does. And then also all the fusions. Or ion cannons. The ion cannons probably don't even dent it if it has the -1 AP thing. I guess it's a fight, right? It's a fight. I do think this does seem good. And I mean, I think a problem with the design of the Tau Index is that the faction ability points you at taking these like big fuck off guns, so that because you want to make your guiding more efficient, you're just gonna take the big units that the guiding units can affect. So you're gonna take like Taunars and the big Storm Surge and like broadside battlesuit teams, and you're just not going to take the smaller units unless they are good at guiding. I think that's like just sort of inherently an issue with the faction. But I think the Taunar being good also kind of exacerbates that. But yeah, this thing seems great, and honestly, for 685, there's just so many attacks, right? You're firing somewhere between like 12 to 15 like really heavy anti-infantry guns, plus a ton of little like shitty guns also. Also, I think you always take the rail cannons. All the other Carapace weapons look really bad on this. And it gets like 1 billion burst cannon shots too, right? It has like a ton of burst cannons attached to it. Yeah, it has 4 burst cannons and 4 SMS. Okay. I guess the downside is that it gets -1 to hit with them if it is shooting at someone else. So they hit on 5s with the little guns, because they're not coordinating fire, right? But that's okay. I don't think there's any way to buff its critical wounds, as to my knowledge. Let's look at the Tau Index real quick. If you could, that would be nuts, but I don't think so. Like if there's a way to give it wound rerolls or something. I don't think you can give it anti. It does get sustain 2 on battle round, attacking its guided unit. So there is a non-zero chance that you like Tesla this thing and clap them for just like 1,016 damage shots. I mean, I think if the end of the day, like largely if you convert the big cannon, it just goes wild. Is it a battle suit? No, just a big walker. Yeah, there's not too much we can do here. You can give it lethal hits. Oh no. Yeah, you can give it lethal hits if you like if you threw Unity Devastation in, but I think that's basically the only buff you get. Yeah, it would be broken if you could. Yeah, it turns out being able to devastating wounds with automatically confirming your criticals is really, really good. Glad they learned that lesson. Yeah, honestly, this thing seems great. I don't know what else to say. I think if you're playing Tau, you're just rocking big stompy robots now. You're basically just like knights, but you don't melee. Which is sad, and I think towering is going to become a problem for that reason. Plus, this thing is like basically as hard to kill as any of those other big knights. It's 30 wounds. It's a 1+ save and cover. It has a 5+ invulnerable save baked in. Does it get drones? It doesn't. Thank God. Can't just like add 8 marker shield drones to it or something. And I'm a little worried about these towering units, honestly. I think that competitive terrain is going to have to be constructed in a way to deal with towering, because I think the Alpha Strike is going to be really, really bad. But we'll see. Barracuda. This is probably my favorite model in the Tau range, honestly, by the way. I think hazard suits are cool, and I like Barracudas. But they've never been good, which is sad. The Tiger Sharks have been okay in the past. It's a T10 14 wound flyer. It's -1 to be hit from all attacks, including melee, which is funny. It does not hover, though. And it gets 2 long-barreled burst cannons, 2 swift strike burst cannons, 2 missile pods, and armored hull. And it can replace 1 swift strike burst cannon. It can replace its burst cannon with an ion cannon or railgun. So the burst cannon is 16 shot strength 6 AP 1 damage. Yeah, okay. It could take a railgun, so it's a 1-shot railgun, basically just the same as on a hammerhead, but it doesn't get the rerolls. And then it has cyclic ion blasters, which are just normal. So you probably just take the railgun, right? And hope for the best. And it is 220. Yeah. I think you're just on hammerheads if you want this profile. It is a deep striking hammerhead, which is cool. But it's like 80 more points for basically the same gun. With no targeting array. Yeah, but no targeting array, sad. It might get to shoot multiple times, though. It is hard to kill. Tiger Shark. Can force battle shock checks on people when it shoots them. It gets 2 ion cannons, 2 missile pods, and it can replace its ion cannons with burst cannons or railguns. Compared to the Barracuda, it's 90 more points for an extra railgun shot, basically, and more wounds. It's hard to kill. These Tau flyers have gotten a real defensive glow up. And can transport 12 tactical drones. It's kind of fun. If it can disembark those out of Deep Strike, this might be okay. Gives it like basically kind of an OC value. And the Tiger Shark AX10 has Anti-Titanic 3. Also, it's within half range. All right. So we want to answer the Knight Porphyrion. Oh, I guess this only shoots 1 shot. If I only had 1 shot, I'd be a Tiger Shark AX10. Anti-Titanic 3 with devastating wounds in Twin Linked is kind of silly, because you just get 2 shots to ping for 12 mortals. But again, that doesn't like kill the knight, it just plows them for a bunch of damage, and then they take 6 up, no pains. And then they shoot you back, probably. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure. I think like Tau versus Knights is probably like just an Alpha Strike game. You both have, a bunch of railguns and towering units and stuff, and you're just gonna like blast each other with anti-tank weapons. They also get it on their Seeker missiles, just kind of great. How many Seeker missiles we get? 6. Oh, okay. Huh. Although anti-Titanic 3 on the Seeker missile doesn't do anything. It's winning almost every Titanic profile on 3s anyway. Except for like Warhound Titans, right? So whatever. Unnecessary, but I appreciate it. The Manta! Can we play a Manta? How many points? 2,100. Exactly not enough to play. Yeah, it's got a bunch of rules on it. It's kind of whatever. It carries 200 infantry. Let's go. 2 heavy rail cannons, 6 ion cannons, 2 long barrel burst cannons, 10 Seeker missiles, 2 missile pods. Yeah, it's just a bunch of guns. Good job, Manta. We're proud of you. Good job being tough to kill and stuff. Good job being an aircraft carrier. I don't know if I like the aircrafts. They're probably too pricey. They're probably not worth just taking them instead of like railguns. I think worst case scenario, you're playing against towering stuff and you just put your like railguns in strategic reserve, and then you hope to like hang out until turn 2 and then like reserve in 5 hammerheads. Or 4, I guess technically is probably what you're doing. They don't have like a reactive redeployment, right? I don't think so. The Town Hour Supremacy suit definitely looks like the standout. I think that they have pushed the survivability of the game to the point that the big stuff against little stuff, the big stuff doesn't die, and you need the big stuff to kill the other big stuff. And I think Tau are probably most in need of these kind of profiles. Anything above strength 9 to Tau is like, oh please God. And so I think the Tau Nar is particularly good for Tau. Otherwise, I'm a little bit worried about that Knight Porphyrion, to be honest. Every time I think about it compared to any of these other profiles, it's just like, oh boy. And I think that it's going to require... what am I doing here? It's going to require some creative... table construction to stop these towering units from just being the Alpha Strike factions. Because this thing will just kill between 1 and 2 of whatever it looks at on the first turn. And I think that's a little problematic. It has the potential to underswing on its number of attacks, but the damage is a lot. And I think the Taunar is kind of the same. Would you even be able to fly a Manta? Probably not. Honestly. It's probably unlikely. 4 Hammerheads is more points than an AX-10. Yeah, but 4 Hammerheads also shoots like 3 times as many, like 3 times as much as an AX-10. Like 4 Hammerheads is as much as 2... where's my Tau Codex? Here it is. 4 Hammerheads is as much as 2 AX-10s, and you get twice as many railgun shots. They just don't have anti-Titanic. So they're better in every other matchup, right? And they have built-in rerolls. Whereas the what do you call it? The Tiger Shark only has rerolls against on its wound roll. whereas the Hammerhead can reroll its hit roll if it needs to. Like, I guess if you're guiding someone with Tetras or something, right? Like, you can give them rerolls, like full rerolls. But that's 80 points per unit. Whereas the Hammerhead just gets that baked in. It also gets +1 to hit against monsters and vehicles, so it hits on 2s, right? Because this increases, this increases your ballistic skill. So it hits on 2s against big stuff, and then gets a wound reroll versus hitting on 3s, and then getting anti. So the Tiger Shark certainly does more damage, but the Hammerhead gunships I think are more flexible. It does more damage than a single Hammerhead gunship. I don't know if it does more damage than 2, right? I guess they can invuln save it against these ones if you don't devastate. Whereas that one just automatically converts for mortals. And they don't do quite as much damage. But also they're better against non-Titanic stuff because you get more shots versus the single shot on the Tiger Shark. Yeah, the Supremacy armor is like terrifying. I agree. I think the combination of the two big D6 plus 6, the two big these big laser cannon towering units is I don't think it's immediately gonna like break the game or anything, but I do think that it's worthy of consideration. Just like watch out when you make your tables because you might have towering units just trading gunshots across them. And if the little units can't hide from a Porphyrian Alpha Strike, they're just gonna die. It gets the army rolls. It has the faction abilities. If you're playing it in Knights. If you're playing it outside of Knights, what is the Knight rule for allying them in? It's just a single Knight model, right? But does it have a cap? Can you play these outside of Imperial Knights? Yeah, I guess so. Do you have to have that ability, though? No. Maybe? Oh, can we just like put Porphyrians in other units? In other armies? I don't know. I think you would want to just play them in Imperial Knights though, right? You could shoulder the burden on that guy. Make it a 1+ save. Let's go. Actually, does that do anything? Can you improve a save beyond the 2+? Probably not, right? But you get +1 to hit, so it hits on 2s. Yeah, you have to get extra high. You can also, like, I think, honestly, the way to do it is you just house roll your terrain. You just say, like, walls are infinitely tall. You can see over the footprint of terrain with towering, but you can't see over physical walls, so just say that, and that's fine. It makes it so that they don't, like, peek through windows or something and then, like, vaporize you. I think that is the way to do it. The best Granite unit is a souped Porphyrian. Maybe. Might unironically be the case. I mean, tournaments house roll their terrain constantly. That's probably the #1 place you see house rolls is tournaments house rolling the terrain. Like, you know, there have been few tournaments that I've been to that haven't said first 4 is line of sight blocking. I would say the majority of competitive games I played IRL has had some form of house rule or another. And a lot of times, like, terrain formats will house rule their rules. Like, even US Open, right? The official GW terrain format had terrain house rules in it. Because they considered their first floor to not have line of sight gaps, and they allowed objectives to be placed on terrain. 40k like sort of like falls apart if you don't include terrain house rules. And I think the towering keyword is just like another instance of that. I don't think it like by itself sort of like blows things wide open, but it does mean that you have to have good terrain to make it the games, you know, take more than one turn. If the game just becomes like a roll to go first, it's really not fun. All right, chat. Well, it's an interesting inclusion for the Imperial armor. I think the big winners. Did we do Eldar? Did we skip Eldar? Hold up. Oh, we did. Holy shit. We skipped an entire faction. Did we skip any other bit? No, besides all these ones. Nope, I think we just jumped straight off of Orks and then moved to Astra Militarum. Whoopsies. Well, that's fine. We can talk about them now. The Wraith Seer is a Wraith Lord that can attach Spirit Seers. Make somebody take a battle shock check in their shooting phase. That's okay. And it has a D cannon that can't shoot through walls. Nice. The Revenant Titan. How many points is a Revenant Titan, do we think? $1,100. So basically the same as a Warhound. It's 30 wounds, 2 plus save, T13. So it's 1 toughness lower and 10 wounds lower than a Warhound. Gets a little missile launcher. Anti-monster, anti-vehicle, assault, torrent, strength 8, AP 3-2 damage on its sonic lances. Or it takes pulsars, which are strength 14, AP 3-4 damage. Sonic lances seem real good. They don't ignore cover, but they're decent AP all by themselves. You can -1 to wound this guy, right? Yeah, it takes double TP to target him with stratagems, but it doesn't say anything about abilities. So he could be T13, 2 plus save, -1 to wound towering, and then has 12 plus 2d6 anti-monster vehicle for lances. It's not like... I think that the scary part... It does take 2 CP to overwatch with it, and the scary part is the overwatch, because it blows vehicles up. But I don't know if it's the most terrifying profile that we've seen. For 1,100 points, you have to remember this is over half your army, probably. I like that all of its weapons are assault, though. That's kind of fun. Oh, that's true. Yeah, 4 plus invulnerable save rather than a 5. Although, to be fair, like a 4 plus invulnerable save is sort of superfluous with 2 plus armor. The Phantom Titan has 2,100 points. It's devastating wounds 2d6 for d6 shots. Honestly, compared to the other like Titans we've been looking at so far, this is like fine. This looks okay, I guess. The Cobra. So this is the big D cannon tank, right? For 415. It has a D Impaler. Jesus, really? It can do D3 mortal wounds. Oh, on a 3-inch AoE off of whatever it hits with its big gun. It's D6 plus 3, strength 16, AP 4, 4 damage. It's honestly not even that exciting. For 415 points, I would much rather you take this than a Wraith Knight, to be honest. Because it shoots D6 plus 3, 4 damage rather than 2d3, 2d6 damage. And you want individual single attacks with Strands of Fate. The Scorpion. Each time an attack made with its twin Scorpion Pulsar destroys an enemy model that has the Deadly Demise ability. It blows up on a 4. Adorable. This seems like a pretty solid gun. 6 shots, strength 18, AP 3, 5 damage for twin linked. So you can guide it to hit on 2s, and then reroll up its wound rolls, but only AP3, which is a little bit sad against all the 2+ in cover saves we're looking at. These are 2+ armor saves that we should talk about. So they are legitimately hard to get rid of. They're about equivalent to a Wraith Knight, right? Because they're, or a little bit easier. They're not -1 damage, but they have higher wound characteristic. So it's probably around the same, but their lower toughness is the only difference. The Nightwing gets +1 to hit against flyers and has a twin Bright Lance, twin Shuriken cannon. So just one twin length las cannon shot basically, and then a twin length 3-shot Shuriken cannon. For how many points? 150. Ooh. That's a lot. 2,100 points and a dozen transport 200 infantry models. Get it out of here. Garbage. Absolutely garbage. Can we review units under 10 wounds? I mean, most Forge World is vehicles, to be fair. So there have been units under 10 wounds, but not many. The Warp Hunter is 130 with a D flail. There's a D flail and a twin shuriken catapult that could take a cannon instead, which is D3 shot, strength 12, AP 4, 3 damage, devastating wounds, and makes a battle shock check. For 130, that's kind of low, but it's only 3 damage, so that's probably fine. I would rather you take that than like let's pay up extra for like 2 D cannon platforms. The Lynx. These things used to be nutso. Their Pulsar is 4 shots, strength 16, AP 3, D6 damage for a lot of points. 155. Oh, that's inexpensive. I think the issue is that you start comparing it to a Fire Prism, and it's just worse. But if the Fire Prism gets nerfed, I think you could see this thing, because it's harder to kill. It's 4 extra wounds. It advances and is assault, so it can move 23 and shoot its gun. Yeah, I think if we did see a nerf to Fire Prisms, I think the Lynx would probably take its place. It's only D6 damage, but you could Strands of Fate it, and it shoots more times. It shoots twice as many times. It doesn't get the hit reroll, but it's faster. I don't know. Really fine. Hornet can bomb people for a mortal wound. It has 2 pulse lasers and can replace them with bright lances. So the pulse laser is strength 9, 2 shots for D3, but you just replace it with the pulse laser. How many points is that? 80. 80 for 1 versus a Warwalker for 90, right? 95. So for 15 more points on a Warwalker, you're -1 to be wounded, get a 4+ invuln save, and get infiltrate. Or scout 9, right? I think you just take Warwalkers. Maybe if you're out of Warwalker slots, like Warwalkers and Vipers, if you're taking MSU, that might be fine. If they like hammer Strands of Fate in a future update, I could see the Eldar army becoming like this like vehicle MSU. Shadow Specters. They have a D6 shot blast attack or a focus 3 damage shot, and then they can move 6 inches after they shoot. It's not a good gun, but getting Fire and Fade for free is pretty good. For 16 points a model with move 12, I actually think that's respectable. Like, you can doom whatever they're shooting at, and then they're like wound on 4s. They're not as good as Warp Spiders. I think the problem is that Warp Spiders are just like strictly better because you mostly want these guys to be like objective holders and fight infantry. But Warp Spiders are like the same cost and move 100 like infinite distance. How many points are Warp Spiders? Warp Spiders are 20 points. So they're 4 points a model less than Warp Spiders. They don't shoot nearly as well, obviously. But they can hit and run. I kind of like this unit. Yeah, they can shoot and scoot for no CP, and I do think Eldar gets CP strapped pretty quickly, especially if they don't attach their Artark to anything. I've seen a lot of games where the Artark just like hangs out by himself and then gets killed by Desolators or something. I don't know if they look insane. Like their damage output isn't phenomenal, but I mean, I guess it kind of is for 16 points model maybe. But I think this ability is like super good. Yeah, I like Shadow Specters. I'd be in for Shadow Specters if we're taking utility units. They do seem like a good one. The Scathach Wraith Knight with its Death Shroud cannon. It's a D6 devastating wounds or 3d6 blast devastating wounds. Strength 6 AP1. At least they can't take additional of the big D cannons, the heavy D cannons. Once per battle, you can remove the model from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve at the end of your opponent's turn. Are the Inferno Lances arm weapon? Oh, it has one Inferno Lance and can take one Death Shroud cannon. Oh, but it can replace its Scatter Shield with the second one, yeah. So which you'll probably do because it's a 2+ save anyway. So you could take 8 Melta Las Cannons, basically, but only range 12. Or you could take 2d6, 2 damage devastating wound shots. Yeah, I don't know. How many points? 385. So it's a 15-point upgrade over the regular Wraith Knight because it's faster. But its weapons are way less exciting. I think 8, like, big Melta guns is like pretty good, right? Because you can shoot it long range for a turn, like on turn 1, top of 1 or whatever. And then end of your opponent's first turn, you just reserve it and then get within 12. Yeah, I'm kind of into it. It doesn't like hold the candle to the regular Wraith Knight though. I could see it if the regular Wraith Knight gets like aced out. I could see it as a alternative. But it seems like they have so much good artillery. I don't know if you want a model that gets within 12 of your opponent to do its damage. And then Irilith, who can, I assume, attach to Shadow Specters, yeah. And gives them +1 to hit. And makes enemies -1 battle shock. Okay. And he has a 3-shot 4 damage gun, but awkwardly like can't blast with it. It'll just shoot 3 shots all the time. It's high damage, low strength. It's interesting. How many points is Irilith though? He's like 100, I bet, at least. Yeah. I don't even think you take him, right? Because I don't think, unlike you know, like Candyman or Azurmen, I don't think you're taking those the Shadow Specters to be like these like super hard hitting units. I think you're taking them just to be annoyance, and I don't think you want to pay more than like 80 points for this unit that's going to sit on your objective but then also contribute damage to the fight, or just like sneak up on enemy objectives. Like the fact that they can move, the unit moves 18, right? Because it just moves, shoots, moves again, is really good while contributing damage to you know, the game plan. And I think just making that unit more expensive, I don't know if you necessarily need. But maybe it's fine. I don't know. He doesn't seem that great. He's basically he's like an extra Shadow Specter with extra steps, but he costs more than the rest of the unit combined, right? So you would just take a second unit, I feel. I wish he had a cooler ability. Oh, they have stealth too. That's solid. Stealth. That's cool. Yeah, I agree. The Phoenix Lord's definitely got like wildly depowered, Matt. But I think it's okay. Like I do think that their inclusion in some situations is worth it, but they're not like always super duper good, which I think is a fine place for a character to be if they're just buffing a specifically strong unit. I think that Warp Spiders, which you obviously don't have a Phoenix Sword, so it doesn't really matter. But Warp Spiders and maybe Dire Avengers are like the only Aspect Warriors I would really consider taking. So the only Phoenix Lord I think you'd probably see very often at all is probably Azurman. And he seems fine. Like, he's got a Devastating Wound Sword, right? But the other ones I'm not that jazzed about. Honestly, I think Aspect Warriors are like the least exciting part of the Eldar Codex right now. But that's whatever. It is what it is. It's not like Eldar are aching for playable units in their faction. That faction's doing okay by itself. Are these legal for the competitive play? Absolutely. Yep, all the Forge World stuff is. The Legends document will not be, but these are just the regular indexes. When am I doing a Harridan game? I don't know. I have to get a baseline on Tyranids for the time being. I think that there's maybe like an infantry build you can take where you like push primary really hard and then rely on their really good secondaries, but it doesn't feel very good. Tyranids just kind of suck to play right now. The faction's just like really boring. I don't know. Anyway, chats, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. But thanks everyone for coming hanging out. A little bit of an impromptu stream today. Might do a video on these towering data sheets because they're sort of nutso. They seem really good, especially in context with all of their buffs that their factions can give them. So and especially like the Porphyrian may just show up in every like you can 2/3 of the game can just take Porphyrians now, which I think if terrain becomes like heavy or dense, I think is not that much of an issue. But if you play on Planet Bowling Ball, the Porphyrian is just going to kill you. Do a tau game with 2 Supremacy armor suits? Maybe. Unironically, I might. They do seem good. I like to build armies. Like, I don't know. I play stuff on TTS like that's funny all the time. But I do like to build armies that I can actually construct in real life. And I don't know if I have it in me to find 2 Supremacy armor suits. I need a bigger 3D printer maybe to build Talinars. Because I'm not paying like $600 a model. 2 Carnifexes or a Scythe Tyranidol? I think Carnifexes with Old One Eye are the number 1. I would consider Scythe Tyranidol's after that though. I'm not sure yet. There's maybe a list where you just like pack in as many Scythe Tyranidol's and Tyrannifexes as you can, but it is a lot of points. All right, anyway, chat, I have to hop off. But thanks everyone for hanging out with me. I should be live over the weekend. So this weekend is officially launch weekend for 10th edition. I'm certainly going to stream a bunch of games over on the Twitch. I'm also going to be on Nestmind's channel tomorrow morning. Oh, and so tomorrow, we actually have a lot of streaming going on. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. U.S. Eastern, so what is that? Like 15 hours from now? No, 17 hours from now. We're going to have the final Season 7 game pre-invitational for T5S2. So that's going to be a fun one. Space Host versus Astra Militarum. It's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of good old 9th edition technology. So please go hang out with me on the Purple channel over there. That's going to be tomorrow morning. After that, I'm going to be live on Nestmind's channel. We're going to do a little discussion about the indexes that came out so far for a couple hours. And then I'm probably going to stream the rest of the day on Twitch just to celebrate. So please come hang out with me over there. Then that's what's up. I'm not going to be live Sunday, but I will probably be live over the course of the next week and stuff. So anyway, cheers everybody. Maybe we'll play some of those fun games. Maybe we'll play some Town Our Supremacy Seats over the weekend. Maybe we should do some like voted lists, right? So come hang out with me tomorrow morning, and we'll decide what to do for games. It should be fun. Anyway, I'll see you all later, and cheers. Thanks everybody for watching.